Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Talladega, race 9 of the ABN AdminBoxx Cup Series. I'm Carmen alongside me, Kevin Young, to present tonight's action. And it's a stacked field tonight as we look at track information here on your screen. Kevin, a bunch of cars here tonight, some new faces, but everyone fighting for a race win and a chance to be in the chase for the championship. What's it look like tonight? Looks like we have a little bit of an issue with Kevin's audio. We'll try to get that resolved here.
It would be helpful if I'd mute my mic. But anyway, I looked over, you started talking, I saw that my mic was muted. So let me continue on with my thought. Talladega brings out a lot of new drivers, brings out a lot of faces out of the woodwork to try to win this race. It's a very, I wouldn't say an easy race to win, but it's an easy race to be competitive in, as it takes a lot of skill to be able to win one of these races. As you can see, a few more cars here tonight. Other than that, though, pin the foot to the floor and try to pick a line and try to hold your line and see if Lady Luck shines on you at the end of the laps here at Talladega. As practice is about to kind of finish up here, a little bit, 3 minutes to go. If you were here 2 weeks ago, as we were sadly not able to bring the broadcast due to some unforeseen circumstances, but it was Sonoma last 2 weeks ago, and Rudy Valentine ended up winning that race in Sonoma. And the top three for that round was Rudy Valentine, Emily Howe, and Joshua Gaiman rounded out the podium of that race. And now they're going to go from lefts and rights to flat-out lefts. And that's going to be a bit of a culture shock, but they had a week to prepare at the very least.
It's going to be a wild time tonight, to say the least. Obviously, again, 2 weeks ago, Sonoma, we didn't get to broadcast that one due to unforeseen circumstances. But we're back for tonight. It's 2.66 mile Superspeedway, larger than that of Daytona. It's wider than that of Daytona. And typically, the chaos and the calamity is a lot larger than that of Daytona as well. 82 degrees, the track temp. 123 degrees, the track temp. The 11-mile-an-hour winds means that these cars will be pushing around a little bit, especially if we get 3 wide. You'll see a lot of buffeting in the middle lane as things continue to be underway. About 2 minutes left here in practice. They'll be practicing qualifying, then we'll step aside, and you'll get just the raw track sounds as we focus on the driver's meeting. And then the 94-lap, 250-mile main event tonight.
Now, back in the day, as this series is obviously a little bit of a homage to chase era of NASCAR, and obviously with the playoffs, not the playoff system, but the championship deciding formula being based set similar to the chase style. But it is worth noting, this being the last plate race of the season in this regard, is not a win-you're-in situation, but for some cars that may be out of championship contention or maybe on the bubble, getting a great finish here could get them just enough to ensure themselves to fight for a championship instead of being on the outside looking in.
Right now, the point standings as they are, the top 5 pretty well safe and comfortable. Really, you could look at the top 6 and say that with Emily Howe, Christina Ryan, Nick Pressey, Rubia Costa, John Hagan, Callie Height, really safely above 1,000 points at this point. But then you look at the likes of Zach McBride, who tops the session right now, Blake Henderson, Toby Estes, Ryan Pinnell, Lil Peltier Sharp, Lilac Zier. They are not as safe these next 4 races. There's a lot of drivers that want to get into the chase for the cup here. And you look at drivers like Josh Gaiman sitting on the outside looking in, James Gutta, Bryce Saucier, Caitlin Height, Cassandra Winkelbauer, who I believe still not present tonight. Hopefully we get to see her next week for Twin Ring Motegi. Alfred Denny's here tonight. Valentine, despite not being present for half the season, not out of range either. So very interesting to see how the points have really kind of shaken out here across the top 20, with this top 12 spots being the most coveted here looking into tonight's event. Ryan Moutre, a driver with a lot of experience in the HTL Cup Series, went top of the board, and that's where he'll finish. Yeah. He won on the timesheets. 57 career starts in the HTL Cup Series, making his first start in ABN tonight. And we will pivot directly into qualifying.
And as we wait for the cars to kind of wrap up here, I'll add a point to what you were talking about in the championship hunt. It's only a 3-point swing between Lilac Zaire and Joshua Gaiman. Right now, 891, 888, respectively, for both drivers. And then there's a bit of a fall off with James Gutta being 74 back of the cut line. But it's easy to make up points, especially if a driver misses around or has a really bad run. Let's say here tonight, driver crashed out in lap 3. It could easily be a situation with no fast person that if you can just hang on to the bucking Bronco, you can make that points up in about one race time. And with after tonight, there'll be 3 races left, Motegi and 2 other ones. It's going to be quite interesting to see how it all shakes up. But this championship, the top 12 is not locked in stone yet for those bottom 6.
Qualifying underway. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, we will not be able to see any of it because of technical issues from iRacing side of things. With iRacing having technical issues, a lot of us had to join in through the website UI, which means yours truly had to join in as a driver.
Oh, because I'm seeing qualifying just fine if you want.
Because you had to spectate. So, yeah, if you want to share your screen, because I can't see anything. Not without running lefts.
Yeah. Sure, that would be helpful.
Well, because the iRacing UI, for those that are unaware, for those that maybe don't have iRacing or anything like that, there is an authentication issue that went down. It took most of the login information down this evening. And it caused some pandemonium early on, to say the least. So that's what we're working with right now.
And as Carmen tries, and this is kind of obviously watching my perspective right now, we can look at our own timing and scoring here and see Eli Saskic is the first driver on lap number 1 here. Going to start going around here in retrospect. We're going to see how it all shakes up for all these drivers. There's a lot have left the pit lane and are going to put down the times they need to set good runs here.
So we're still kind of getting everything up to date here.
Mm-hmm. As drivers start crossing the line, Kyle Taub having the face we have not seen in a while. Good to see him back. Currently was on provisional pole, but is now falling down the order. Right now, top of the chart is Eli Saskic in the number 19 with Tobias is locking up the front row with him. As a few more drivers are starting to come down and cross their lines. See how it all shakes out in accordance. And it also raises the other question, as obviously still not being shown on stream, but you always see this during qualifying in this regard, is it better to run the wall lap 1 and then come down for lap 2? Or is it better to run the yellow line both times on lap number 1 and lap number 2?
Very good question. A question I don't think I have a very specific answer for. But I think traditionally you want to run the inside. The first lap's the one that matters the most. Mm-hmm. So that's how I believe it would be here. So we're going to pivot here.
And while you do that, we'll keep updated on the timing and scoring. Here's Sosic. Sorry, not Saucier, not Sosic. Sosic was provisional pole, got bumped by Saucier, and now it's Saucier and Sosic 1-2. And right on board here with the 44 of Ryan Moultrie. He has just started lap 1. I think he has finished up lap number 2 here. We'll cut to someone else here. We'll jump to Nicholas Presley as he's currently through the trial for right now, about to start one of his 2 laps here. That 94 machine, one of the drivers firmly in the top 6. He is comfortable right now at the moment, so he's not under pressure to win tonight, but obviously having that heartbreak at Bristol, driver that always seems to be knocking on the door to get that victory, feels a little bit far away from getting it right now, but with the plate race and Talladega being a great equalizer, you could see that 94 in victory lane. He'll have to beat a 51.93, now 51.85 that Emily Howe just jumped to the top of the board with to get a provisional pole.
Right now, a little bit of intrigue.
Josh Gaiman jumps up to P3. First lap in the book, 80, only good for 17th fastest for the 94 machine.
Yeah, times are running at the top of your screen. Emily Howe currently provisionally fastest, ahead of Alfred Denny, who's at second. Josh Gaiman third. Those times will continue to scroll at the top of your screen tonight. Jonathan Adams making his ABN debut after coming in from the ARCS community. He sits currently provisionally 4th place. Bryce Osier 5th. Ruby Acosta 6th. Then it's Sasek, Pinnell. It looks like someone just jumped ahead into the top 5 there.
Yep, that was John Hagan. John Hagan. Oh, as you can see right there, he's called it a lap on lap 1. But yeah, John Hagan jumps up the second. So the two drivers that we've seen the past couple weeks battling for wins, Emily Howe and John Hagan, they're right now front row unless some driver can break through that mold. Nicholas Presley came close, knocked on the door, but couldn't get the job done. He'll slot in P3, second row at the moment. So we'll cut to Logan McKenzie here. He is currently on his second run along with Callie Height. 04 Tide machine. Top 5 last week till 2 weeks ago at Sonoma. Looking to make it another one here. He's got a fast 04 machine, and he's shown it the previous weeks. Right now at... Oh, go ahead.
You're good.
I was going to say, only a few cars have not elected to take times yet. Lilac Zaire, Tommy Withers, Blake Henderson, and Alfred George, Cade McKee, Caitlin Height, and Zach McBride have all yet not elected to set times yet. Some have just spawned on the pit lane. You see right there, Callie Height finishes her second lap 9th. McKenzie jumps up to P4 in that 04 machine. So let's cut on board here with Blake Henderson. He's currently leaving the pit reins in that number 25 machine.
3 cars for that team tonight with the appearance of Moutre alongside Henderson and Denny.
One of the 3 drivers just came out of the pit lane, including Tommy Withers and Alfred George. Blake Henderson is the most recent winner at a plate race, as he won the Daytona 250 to start the season. Is looking to maybe go 2 for 2 on plate tracks.
He's going to try to anyway. For those that are watching live right now, we're obviously everything's a little bit more pixelated because we're having to do a bit of a workaround due to technical issues. That should only last for qualifying. We should be back to normal quality at the end of qualifying due to Discord throttling issues.
Yeah.
Regardless, I believe it's close to 30 cars for tonight's race.
My watch says, excluding you, because you're on the timing and scoring, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27.
Yeah.
So Blake Henderson starting lap 1 here. You know, he's got some speed on these plate tracks, and one of his teammates, Tombstone Racing, number 17, is currently in 5th position. Going to try to get that machine close to a 17 so they can work together like they did in Daytona.
They're going to try to. That's obviously the main goal. Worked out phenomenally all the way back in May.
Yeah, the season started on May. Time flies when you're having fun. First lap in the book. Second lap probably going to be the faster one across the line. Only good enough for 22nd on the timing and scoring pylon.
2 different philosophies, because you have a lot of drivers that went 1 lap and done. Obviously, Henderson looking at that second lap as that golden lap.
Yeah, and we've seen it work. We saw Nicholas Presley, Callie Height, Logan McKenzie all jump up. We've seen the 1 lap strategy. Christina Ryan as well did the 2 lap strategy, but Emily Howe, John Hagan, Alfred Denny, they all did the 1 lap strategy. So it's a mixed bag, and when we saw Henderson run the wall, you knew that was signifying he's doing 2 laps at this. So probably be one of the last drivers to set a time here, him and Alfred George, as Lilac Zaire, Caitlin Height, and Cade McKee will not have enough time to set 1 more lap here. So, well, set a lap, I should say. Cross the line for the 25, and it's only going to be good enough for 11th, just outside the top 10.
There's our George, Bahama Boss. You'll see him almost every Sunday.
Carmen, you're not racing tonight.
Cross the line, that 22. Can he jump to the top 10?
No.
Nope. He'll stay P24. That car was shaking a little bit through the tri-oval. Didn't feel comfortable. I think that will be that, as he will obviously, even if he had another lap in the bank, he will not have enough time to finish it. And that's how they'll roll off. Emily Howe and John Hagan take off from their battle we saw at Atlanta. They'll lock off 1-2 here with Nicholas Presley and Logan McKenzie making up row number 2.
Alrighty. So it looks like we are looking at warm-up now.
5 minutes.
Huge amount of time for warm-up here compared to what typically it would be. But we're going to step aside for a couple minutes so we can go through driver's meeting and enjoy the sights and sounds of the action on track as all the cars begin to go out for their warm-up. Alrighty. Very frantic drivers meeting, but we're almost ready to go here at Talladega. We'll bring up the starting grid with Inley Howe and John Hagen at the front of the field for tonight's event. Nick Pressey, Logan McKenzie in row number 2. Walk us through, Kevin, these next 4 rows.
All right, I will walk through these next 4 rows. We got Josh Gaiman, Alfred Denny in row number 3. Jonathan Adams, and Bryce Osier in row number 4. Ruby Acosta and Callie Height in row 5. Blake Henderson and Eli Saskic in row 6. Christina Ryan and Ryan Pinnell, they will make up row number 7. Ryan Motre and Zach McBride, row number 8. Palate Sharp and Kyle Taub, row 9. Austin Mungold and James Wright will make out row number 10. Then we'll have Mungold and James Wright, and then Toby Estes and Briley Wright will be in the next row, row 11. Lilac Zaire and Tommy Withers will make up row number 12. Actually, Alfred George and Tommy Withers, my mistake. And then Callie McKight and Cade McKee will round out your field here on that point, as that will be the cars running off today.
Again, 94 laps is what we'll be looking at here tonight. Again, everything will be running at the top of your screen as far as the positions of everyone running at the moment. "27 cars take the green flag here tonight. Largest grid we've had since Fontana, California. Superspeedway.
Gonna be quite an interesting show, as again, plate races usually draw big crowds and big fields, which is good in a sense because more cars work with better chance to get to the front if you need to, even though sometimes a bit harder. But at the same point of concern, more cars, more chaos, more possible cautions, more possible wrecks, and more cars you have to avoid if those wrecks occur. So it's going to be quite interesting to see, and more points can be lost or gained depending on where you finish. So it's all going to be interesting to see how it plays out here for these 27 drivers.
One car will start from pit lane. That'll be the 22 car of Elrish George. 26 cars on track here. From Inley Howe all the way down to Cade McKee, who did not set a qualifying time. Again, some new faces in the field tonight. You look down through the field. Jonathan Adams new. He's from the ARCS community, as is Austin Mongold. Those are teammates. Kyle Taub making his first appearance in the series this season. He starts 18th. Ryan Moutre comes in from HTL. He joins his teammates there for Tombstone in Alfred Denny and Blake Henderson. So some new faces mixing in with some very familiar ones. At the front of the field, it's pretty well safe. Inley Howe and John Hagen, they're pretty well set for the chase in 4 races' time. There's a lot of drivers on the cusp or out at the moment, with 4 races to go, including tonight. It's Talladega tonight, next week's Twin Ring Motegi, and then Watkins Glen in Richmond to end out the regular season. But it's time for the Temple of Speed to come alive. Pace car pulls into pit lane. It's Emily Howe, the points leader. John Hagen alongside her on the front row. Pressey, McKenzie in row 2. Denny Gaiman row 3. But it is showtime. We are racing, green flag in the air here at Talladega. Level pegging it there at the start by Howe and by Hagen. The 83 and the 52. Really good scene looking down from the blimp camera there.
Very aggressive by Logan McKenzie to try to get down there. Luckily, not Henderson, but the 17 at Denny, I should say, summer paint schemes allowed him to come in there. Could have easily just kept the door closed and made him go the high side. But luckily, we'll save the 04 today. And a big move to the high side there to the 88 of Adams. He'll jump up high. Henderson was going to go high. Now going to line up with his Tombstone teammate on the inside. As we saw from Talladega, runs can kind of come and go, but your outside is going to be your passing, your inside is going to be your holding. And if my memory serves me correct, Daytona, they were side by side coming to the finish. I think the run came from the high line.
It did.
For Blake Henderson to win that race over Kelly Height. And right now, Hagan going to jump down, and he will lead lap number 1 with Game in second and Emily Howe in third.
So far, so steady. As it looks like that Zach McBride dropping back. He's going to go below the yellow line and get out of harm's way.
They're going to avoid the chaos.
And he looks a little further back, 3 wide there. Looks like Toby Estes is one of those cars 3 wide. Caitlin Height and Lily Peltier Sharp also in that 3-wide situation. Toby Estes dropping back a little bit. He'll drop down behind. It looks like that was initially Moutre that was 3 wide with him.
I believe it was. They're still a little bit 3 wide in the back there, but it looks like it's starting to funnel out a little bit here. But Kelly Height going to charge in that middle. She wants to try to get up through there in a kind of unorthodox position.
4 wide.
Oh, and Pinell going to get shoved out there. He'll come back up on the racing surface. Sharp will cut him some slack. And he'll come back in, but obviously not too thrilled with that 11 kind of bullying him out of the way.
Yeah, Caitlin trying to force her way through. This is the kind of racing that was warned about in the driver's meeting.
Presley also jumping back, maybe did not see it in front of him, maybe saw it in the mirrors, maybe heard it from other radio communication with a teammate, knows, let's not play this game right now. Long laps, only lap 3. And if you got drivers willing to make it 3 wide this early, it may be best to kind of go back instead of ending up in the fence. Because the series, no faster pairs. One mistake, one major impact, and that is race done. Lights over. So you got to be careful in what you do. So lap 4, it's still John Hagan up front. Gaiman still leading that second line there with Saucier pushing that 61 outward. And you can see in that third line, Ruby Acosta and Callie Height both trying to get that third line to work, even though it's kind of tippering out a bit, but they are willing to try to make a third line work.
You're looking on board there with Ruby Acosta. 4th place at Atlanta a few weeks ago. But falling back there, you see Christina Ryan in the Pennzoil, number 80, moving forward as they go down the tri-oval here.
As you watch, I think most drivers that have elected to maybe bail out of this situation have already agreed to do so. So if you're up at that front, your game plan is to ride up front because in your mind, it's easy to avoid the accidents. You're up front. Christina Ryan, as you can see in this perspective, good bounce out there. You can see Pennzoil machine. That is the 22 Alfred's George they're going to catch here. Christina Ryan made a move from the high line to a low line. Now she is in that second groove. And it looks like that third line is going to merge, make it 2 lines once again. Peace in the lines. But still, John Hagan lead control as obviously maybe they even jump down because they see they got to find a way to allow that 22 to go around as he's kind of slow. And he almost checked up that outside line. Caitlin Height, a woman on a mission. She's already up to this top half here. Remember how far back she started. She's been zipping and zopping her way up to the front. And now 3 wide, battling for 7th. Trying to make that third line and take a lead to the front. You can see Sasek getting out of harm's way, realizing this is a bit of a chaos spot. He's going to jump down and leave his other 2 teammates in tow up in this front. Well, one other teammate in tow up in this front pack, that 07 Associate.
Sasek will make his way back on track there, down in the 19th position.
Ooh. Yep, something happened with Zaire, but also Nicholas Presley's kind of slow.
3 wide by 3 rows. At the front, Caitlin Height leading Acosta and Callie Height. Josh Gaiman led that lap. It's Caitlin Height leading the outside lane. Oh, trouble there. Lily Peltier Shark got loose in the outside lane, tagged the wall. Was trying to fit on the outside lane behind Callie Height, couldn't do it. Remember, there's no stages in this race. It's a straight shot from start to finish. There'll be pit stops in between. But it's all pretty well straight and narrow as far as how you get to the end of this race.
This race could go 94 laps green if it does elect to go so, if the drivers choose to allow it to go 94 laps green.
Right now, Hagan lead that lap. Inside lane, pulling ahead now.
One driver hoping it does not stay green for 94 laps is the number 94 car, as he's way off the pace right now.
And it was George, who's already a lap down.
Yeah, Alpha George is a lap down. The 94 is about a straightaway back and falling. Going to need a caution to get back bunched up, and Alpha George obviously get the lucky dog to get his lap back. Acosta in the wall right there, still stuck in the wall. You can see her pinned. Height will get around. Everyone will clear her. But she obviously kind of checked up some drivers there, and now she'll have to regroup farther back and hopefully catch on to Zach McBride here where that pack drives away.
That's a dangerous game to play. Obviously, it did not work out for either of the Queen's Design cars. Caitlin Height now on her own in the outside lane.
Yep.
Caitlin Height trying to get to the front.
Yeah, strange situation makes strange bedfellows. It looks like Ryan Pennell was thinking about going with that 11 and will luckily allow that 11 to get back in. So Ryan Pennell a little bit forgiving what happened on lap 3 and is going to give the 11 a second chance here.
Yeah, the 11 gets the team up with Christina Ryan. A couple of best friends down the outside lane. Emily Howe still firmly on the inside behind Hagan. Inside lane, first 3 cars. It's Hagan, Howe, and McKenzie, with Gaiman, Saucier, and Adams on the outside lane. So rookies make up half the top 6. Soon
I will say
across the track.
Good little shot there. Get to see kind of the perspective here. I will say, as watching this from the booth and as someone that loves this kind of racing, the drive-in when it comes up on the official weeks, it's always quite fun to watch kind of the strategy and the elements. And you can see, even though you can't hear them, you can kind of see certain drivers in their mind, how their gears kind of rack, how they want to attack this, if you will. How they want to charge. Some want to start in the back. Some want to be up front. Some want to drop back after a couple laps. Some want to charge up to the front. Some want to time their laps. And it's quite interesting to see how and what. And you kind of see early on, some drivers, have a good chance at winning because they have kind of the gusto to know how to see the lines, see the draft, get to the top front. And there's other drivers, they kind of can just get a feel of the only way they'll be up front is if the cards roll right in the direction, even if the fields are so competitive. And right now, the 88 going to get kind of shuffled out here in that third line. Don't think it was 100% a move of desire to try to charge up to the front here. But regardless, he'll have some help in that 12. Ryan Pennell, who will join him on that third groove. But it only looks like they'll be the 2 cars, and they will most likely fall back here unless they get some support.
Going to finish lap 11 here at Talladega. Hagan leads this lap. It's been action-packed, but it's been caution-free so far in this competition. Again, race 9 of the ABN AdminBoxx Cup Series. Next week, we head to Japan for a race at Twin Ring Motegi.
What a culture shock.
Well,
Different
yeah,
time
what a
zones,
change of
different
pace.
continent. Yeah, continents, time zones, everything. There's nothing similar between those 2 tracks at all.
Next 2 races are going to be pretty interesting. Motegi next week, 3 weeks' time, we go to Watkins Glen, and then we end the regular season at Richmond.
Yeah, you get the quick put through the ringer here. You get to go to a short track, a road course, and then another short track to finish the season and prove you want to be in the top 12 to fight for a championship.
John Hagan gets a full car length there on Josh Gaiman, but outside lane, the way the momentum builds, it builds on the exit here at turn 2. We'll see if we can go on board with somebody in that outside lane to sort of see how all of that ebb and flow goes. We'll go with Christina Ryan, our world champion from last year. Behind Saucier.
And you can see how she kind of respects the groove here. She's not overly, don't push the pusher. And you can see in certain situations, she knows when to kind of come up and really get close to that 07 and kind of almost push. She also knows in turn when to kind of respect the 07 here, give some distance, and not end up pushing him in a situation that ping-pongs him across the crack and ends up taking out multiple cars. Just a good little respect and element. And you can just see in her mirror, that's what she's been seeing so for 14 laps. And she'll continue to see it for many more if this thing kind of shakes out there. And it's just, it's a daunting sight, but something you get used to.
Yeah, this is right below the windshield for the number 80 machine. Some of the onboard cameras we got here for this car here tonight. Inside lane working very well in the corners, but the outside of the corners is what matters, and it's going to help out a little bit here.
A bit of a just shuffling there. Big gap there from Toby Estes to Ryan Pinnell. Ryan Pinnell just jumped down there. You'll see it right now. Through 3 and 4 as you were watching, that line got very separated, if you will, as I think a few cars checked up or a few cars jumped up and down as the 44 did not close the gap. So luckily they'll get reorganized here. The outside line couldn't capitalize the way they needed. That inside line showing a bit of cracks with troops in line, I should say.
Jonathan Adams went to the outside lane, the 88 machine, that National Guard car, and has fallen backwards in that situation. He'll slot in between, that is Height and Pelletier Sharp, with now Blake Henderson on his own. The Daytona 300 race winner from the beginning of this season, going to get together with Pelletier Sharp.
Sharp was on the radio there, kind of telling the 88 he had the opportunity to come down if he so chose to do. Kind of being a bit respectful here, knowing that if you kind of go in side by side, you're both going to drag each other down. And then you can see Denny going to jump up that high groove right in front of Sharp.
And teammates trying to line up here a little bit. You see there's Ryan Muchway, the 44, a little bit further back. He's on the inside lane, not with his teammates at the moment. A lot of shuffling back and forth. You saw those winds we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, 11 mile an hour to 13 mile an hour winds. That will have a bit of an effect as Sasek jumps to the middle lane.
Yeah, he tried to make a third line work, didn't work, had to go back a little bit, now jumps back down.
That third lane's just not going to work tonight, and drivers are going to find out the hard way. With how these winds are and how these car profiles are, the middle lane's sort of more impervious to the side drafting. We were kind of expecting, you look at the way the Gen 7 car is, for example, a lot of buffeting. It'll move back and forth. That middle lane doesn't do that. That outside lane feels the worst effect of it because of the wall on the outside being so consistent and the winds that we've been seeing so far in tonight's race. So that outside lane's been next to none.
But in that same vein of existence, these cars know desperate times call for desperate measures, and we know as those laps tick away.
You can't be desperate on lap 17, though.
I agree. I'm not saying you're going to be desperate on lap 17. I'm not saying you do it. But I'm saying when we see 70, 80 tick down with 10, 5 laps left in the race, someone's going to try to make that third line work, because if they're stuck back in 18th, they got to try to find a way towards the front. Now, obviously, you should have maybe made that move a little bit earlier, but you know for a fact someone's going to try to charge to the front. That lap is actually led by Gaiman by a finger, as those two cars have led the majority of the laps, both the 61 and the 52, as Sasek, if he can get some help, could maybe make it work. He does have the 07, but I don't think the 07 is going to jump out of line to support unless there's a really good chance. And speaking of teammates, that 94, who's lost touch, about to get caught by this pack here in about 2 or 3 laps time.
And it's a bad time to be caught by this pack because they are 3 wide. Sasek on his own on the outside lane, trying to side draft his way forward, sort of just playing hopscotch with that outside lane. There's Blake Henderson as well, for Denny also on that outside lane.
Ooh, Sasek trying to side draft aggressively there. Yeah, 2 cars right now, 1 car currently on a lap down. That is Alfred's George, as we have 26 cars still on the lead lap. That will change in a second. Nicholas Presley and Ruby Costa, the only 2 cars not on the pack here we are watching, or the pack slightly in the back. And you're about to see that 94 car. Going to stay close to the wall here. Gaiman going to try to cover block off 07 here. Now jump back low.
Wow, that's very bold to be doing this on lap 19. That's a very bold call.
Only thing that's going to stink here is where's Sasek, Henderson, and Denny going to go, as Presley's going to fill that hole. They're going to have to find a way down.
Sasek got it.
Sasek got it, Height got it, everyone else now with the big space. He'll go low. Ryan jumps high. Sasek going to come back up, maybe to help 94 get a little toe, but 94 already along in the toe. So lap 20 going to be led by Hagen. But yeah, you just saw there that 61 was not going to allow that 07 around. He wants to be in that front groove. And we know Josh Gaiman's an aggressive driver. For better or worse, he's very aggressive, and that's how he's gotten many wins. That's also he's had it many times in the wall. But that 61 still holding outside line groove, and now you can see Sasek has a chance. He does have Henderson in tow, but he's not going to get enough to clear, and obviously 61 ain't going to jump up, so he'll fall back like a yo-yo. At 21 in the books. Oh, 20 in the books, starting 21, I should say. And not much has changed up front, but they're about to be 30 wide in row 3. And it looks like that outside line gonna get some, that way outside, gonna get some cavalry support here. You're gonna have that 88, that 25, and the 13, all charging on that high line there. Actually, 18, I should say, of Sharp. All gonna try to make a run. Oh, in the wall. Tombstone Racing's 25 of Henderson. Going to kind of cause a checkup there of that whole cavalry. Now Eli Sasek's alone. Got to find a way down as quick as he can get down.
Stafford is. Sasek's going to lose at least 2 spots here, if not more. He'll slot in line behind Kelly Height.
That kind of stinks. It was finally looks like the momentum was coming for that third groove, and then Henderson taps the wall.
It looks like it could. Like, in theory, it works, but the way, again, it's all about that wind. And it's been insane wind speed so far in this race. It just throws the car around, especially the further up you go, especially when it unloads. It's so violent how it unloads in the outside lane. It's so much worse compared to the middle or the bottom of the track, which is a little bit more smooth and defined. Adams and I believe that's Adams and both Henderson and Denny making their way forward now in the outside lane.
You're correct, and I wouldn't be shocked. Actually, I think Sasek is, inside, got a little squirrely there.
Sasek's in the middle, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say Sasek currently in the middle, so he will not be able to jump up here and be the lead train here. Henderson going to jump back low.
Yeah, Adams an unknown commodity here in the ABN AdminBoxx Cup Series, a rookie, his first start in the series. He's made starts in the ARCS competitions in the past, but this is his first night, as well as his teammate there with Austin Mongold, certainly sitting in 24th position at the very tail end of this pack, but still very much in it.
Yep. They are going to catch
4 wide.
Gaming got split there. Saucier as well.
Yeah, that was Christina Ryan.
Yeah, she forced it. How going to jump high? Had enough of sitting behind Hagen. Wants to link up with Friend.
It was a matter of time. It was linking up with Friend and Protege right there.
Mm-hmm.
So Christina Ryan.
It's height around right in front of the 25. Oh, Saucier in it. Henderson as well. Denny up and over. 29 as well. That's 4 cars involved. Make it 5, and that will be the first caution of the night.
Kelly Height, I believe, came off the nose of Sasek.
I believe. I know Height was the one that got around. We'll take a look at the replay when we can, but a few good cars heading to the junkyard.
A little bit of contact there between Height and Henderson.
Yeah, maybe it was
maybe it was a side drafting ordeal. Take a look at it here. As Height, there's Sasek. Sasek's right behind Height here.
Yeah, there's nothing Henderson did there.
We'll go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was Sasek.
It was Sasek that he tried moving up and just moved up super late. And yeah, Height got turned around there. We'll go slow motion here. This is in the tri-oval. Yeah, Sasek just completely turned Height there. Nothing for either of the Tombstone Motorsports cars to do. There's Saucier, the 07. Nothing he can do in this. Looks like Lilac Sear going to have a really good piece of this.
Yeah, right in the front there. Probably right. It was terminal damage. You see him right there. He is taken behind the wall in that 29. So his day is done. Presley avoids it, and I think he will get the lucky dog.
He will, correct.
Yep.
It saves Acosta, who did not go a lap down in that situation.
Yeah, I was going to say before that caught, she was about to get caught. And luckily, that was not the case. So that machine will be able to catch back up. Press will get back in the lead lap. The only real loser besides the ones in the accident is the 22 of Alfred's George. Take one more look here. We'll find on board here with, well, I was going to say Henderson, but we'll actually check on Eli Sasek. You can see late move, bumps the Pontiac.
Yeah, I just really late move there by Sasek there. Now we're on board with Henderson. You see, he's going to have nowhere to go here.
Yeah. Like, if they were far enough back, he could have maybe gotten the brakes, but right behind him was Alfred Denny, and Alfred Denny obviously couldn't break in time, and it just sent that chain of effects. So as you see cars coming down pit lane, every car elected to pit there, obviously up to 94.
We were approaching the pit window, so yeah. I'm not surprised if this was the case.
Safe to assume we'll see at least 1 to 2 more pit stops, depending on obviously fuel economy and whatnot, considering the window is about 25, 30, maybe 35. We'll see at least 1 more stop, maybe another one, depending on how things shake up. Now the question is, with those cars that were in that accident, how bad were some of those wounded? And if they can continue, can they be still somewhat competitive? Because if you hit the front of the engine too hard, you obviously damage the engine, and that is GG to your chances of winning this race. But if you got a light hit, maybe to the side or the back, it may affect the drafting ability. But if the engine's still good, you still have a chance to at least be somewhat competitive, even if you have a parachute on the back that makes it kind of very hard to lead the train.
All right, so first caution of the night tonight for an incident involving Alfred Denny, Callie Height, Blake Henderson, Briley Wright, among a couple others. Lilac Zero, another one, after Callie Height got turned off the nose of Eli Sasek. Not a big one by any chance. Obviously, 26 cars in this race. Briley Wright, the only retirement of that event.
Yep, cars involved. There was 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 on my total board. So 5, and then Sasek obviously with the turn make it 6. So 6 cars involved out of a 27-car field. 2 cars electing to go with a different strategy in pit lane. 11-second stops with both of them. So 2 tires and fuel for Howe and Ryan. Everyone else electing to take 4 tires and fuel on their pit stops. Also, Ruby Costa also came in for 2 tires and fuel as well.
So we're going to see friends at the front of the field tonight for the first restart of the night. Emily Howell will lead the field to green alongside Christina Ryan, Josh Gaiman, and Caitlin Height. 2 adversaries from the HTL Cup Series. They're in the second row. For those wondering, HTL, we come back to racing the 21st of August on Monday nights. Season 4 for the HTL Cup Series begins. We hope to see you all then. There'll be me and Christina Ryan in the booth for that race. Get to see both Height and Gaiman once again going at it.
Mm-hmm.
John Hagan, Logan McKenzie in row 3. Ryan Pinella, Ryan Moutre in row number 4 with Jonathan Adams on his debut, sitting in row 5 alongside Kyle Taub, Champ Car race winner from last year. Great to see him back after joining the Air Force. You see a little bit of the Air Force insignia on the number 16 machine. Here's the 27 of Cade McKee. He's alongside Lily Pelletier-Sharp. James Wright joins alongside Ruby Acosta, who got bailed out by that caution. Ruby Acosta, a new chance at life. She'll start in 14th position. McBride and Sasek in row 8. Row 9, Estes and Saucier. Row 10, Withers and Zier. Then it's Mongold, Denny, Pressey, and Height. The 24 cars on the lead lap. Henderson went 1 lap down. He's going to rejoin the track here. Still damaged, still wounded, but obviously still some chance to score some points. And those points are very needed for him, as he is not the safest driver in the top 12.
Yeah, no.
But we are approaching the restart zone. Pace car will come in that hard left on the pit lane. And it's through the Geico restart zone that we will see. Marked in blue, it's Hal and Ryan, front of the field. Green flag back in the air, and away we go.
You already see Logan McKenzie there bail from the high to the low. Instantly going to leave Ryan and the 11 of height out to dry. There's next car cavalry line will be the 44 of Monterey, and that's a bit of a gap. You can see a little bit further back, 3 wide. As a few more cars did not get going, as they're all kind of shuffling to find
I think
their
some
spot.
cars intentionally kind of balked at it, trying to figure out where they wanted to be. Obviously, Cade McKee, that number 27 car, dropping all the way back. His first race in the series. He's got 2 wins in sports car competition here in ABN. But his first stock car race with us here. And he's like, yeah, I'm not fond of being here in the top 6. I'm going to drop back here.
No, if you're especially new to these things, it's kind of trial by fire.
Someone who is very comfortable, though. You look at that 12 of Ryan Pinnell. Jumped right into it. Same with Ryan Moutre, the 44 behind Kyle Tao. That outside lane has some potency to it now, with Ryan and Height leading the way. Ryan Pinnell, he's a good ace at these Superspeedway tracks. Tobias is there. You see the 2. Also in line
as well. You are correct. I just want to say, though, John Hagen, first time he's been buried in the pack here ever since the drop of the hat. He's been up front leading the train, and now, or one of the trains, but now he is buried in the deep middle of the inside groove here. 5 cars back. We'll see how he reacts to kind of being in a train. Again, obviously, he's got some experience at it. We saw him in the
300
shootout. Yeah, and the 300. Being able to kind of manage that well. So I don't think it's anything new to that 52, but it's a bit of a change of pace, if you will, from going leading to buried in the middle.
You saw Height and Ryan. They moved to the inside lane almost immediately to get in front of Emily Howe. Ryan Pinnell now leading the outside lane with Kyle Tao in tow. Then there's Moutre, Estes. Then there's Sasek, Saucier, and Ruby Acosta. Obviously, not as many cars in this group now. You're looking over the back, 21 cars in this group compared to the 24 we had earlier. Presley's fallen off by almost a second. We have Denny, who's off by 3 seconds. Kelly Height, as you look a little further back there. Then there's Elvis George, who's not in contention at the moment.
Yep. Only 2 cars currently out at the moment. Riley Wright and Blake Henderson. Blake Henderson was not able to get that machine going.
Could not get it to a safe speed.
And yeah, he just got a 31. He's got a 31 seconds of repairs, 31 minutes of repair, I should say. So it is basically done for that 25. But yeah, Height and Denny obviously wanting the battle scars in that backpack. Also, Elvis George back there as well. Just hoping to avoid the melee and maybe get back and lead up with a quick caution. Yeah, 21 cars in that pack, like I said. And you can see up front, it's the Christina Ryan show. Naomi Howe in tow, and they are 3 wide for second row on back. Neither driver giving an inch, and it's only lap 30.
Yeah, Caitlin Height tried to move to the outside lane, moved there to the middle lane behind Ryan Pinnell to allow Howe and Ryan to hook back up. This Toyota Camry's on the inside lane. First, second, and fourth in the inside lane. Stepping Stone and Prismatic Motorsports is a Ford Fusion outside lane with Ryan Pinnell and Caitlin Height both running the Fusions there. Same with Ryan Moutre. See another Toyota there with Sasek, the 19, for Ascent Racing. But you see 21 cars here means a little less likely you're going to see that 3-wide attempt try to go as far as it did. Saucier making the move to the outside lane, but I believe he's mostly going to fall backwards here on his own.
Yeah, considering he was involved in that first caution, I'm shocked that thing is competitive, let alone... He's the only car, the outlier of all the cars involved in that incident. Yeah. He's really the outlier of still being able to be decently competitive.
Zier's there as well. Zier's 21st. She's sitting stationary. She was involved in it because her and Saucier got together.
Yeah, correct.
Both of them are still very well in this pack, so both of them still have a really good shot. Just 2 different strategies there. But yeah, as you mentioned there, both of them involved, but both of them still looking really competitive so far.
Yeah, didn't destroy the engine or didn't do enough damage. Meanwhile, you can't say the same about Henderson, Denny, and the 66 as well.
Still Christina Ryan leading the way ahead of Emily Howe. That line on the outside lane has gone to 3 cars with Sasek and Toby Estes.
Hagen jumped up to the middle there. I think Gaiman maybe shuffled him out a tad bit, and now he'll be in that middle groove. Saucier going to jump low between Kyle Taub. Will make it work as well. Hagen not take any time, wants to be back up to that front line. And he will take that middle groove here, get some push from that 11, and it looks like if everything shapes out, he will lead this lap. So John Hagen put another lap in his total book. And Saucier hooks Gaiman, and that's going to be the fence. Multiple cars. Ryan Pennell involved. Right in the wall, you can see Saucier. Saucier cannot avoid danger twice, and that will be the second caution of the night.
And that will kind of end it for Saucier. There's Ryan Moutre, the 44 machine. Ryan Pennell with a little bit of damage on the front of his car.
Yeah, may have damaged the engine. The rest looks fine, but see how much repair he has. There's 27. Yeah, Gaiman obviously not too happy with what happened. As he ended up being kind of the bystander. They got set hard into the outside wall. So we'll take a look at the replay here.
And we'll have to move a little bit further forward because it is a little bit further back here.
Keep an eye on that green and black machine and that yellow and blue machine. And you can see kind of drifts down. Looks like 61's holding his line.
Yeah, that's Sasek. That's all on Sasek there, unfortunately.
Saucier.
Yeah, Saucier. Sorry, excuse me. Sasek was the first one.
Sasek's going to avoid it right here and get a Phantom 4X. Oh, no, he'll clip it a little. Never mind. No damage, though, at least, looks like. Well, yeah. 44 was almost out of the clear there. Just ended up getting hooked, and then obviously gets mounted by the 61. Toby S is right there, sneaks on by. Taking a look here.
Yeah, that's on Sasek. That's on Saucier there for just kind of coming down really unnecessarily.
Yeah, bit of lack of concentration there. That takes two good cars out of it.
Takes more than two good cars out of that. That takes a decent chunk of cars out of it. Gaiman's out of it. Yeah, Moutre, Ryan Pennell, obviously Saucier himself. He had a good running car still. That's not going to mean anything now.
Makes me wonder, obviously we saw a few cars maybe got less damage. We'll have to see how much they are wounded, but obviously a few good cars are definitely out of it. So pit stops occurring here. Christina Ryan stays out. Everyone else coming in. Actually, her and Zach McBride are going to stay out.
Teammates are stepping stone.
Yeah. Odd strategy choice here. Alfred George obviously will get the lucky dog as he was the only car one down. He'll go on around. And quick little fuel off, top off for the 83. She'll be the first one to leave the pit lane. She will take third position and line up behind the 80. As they cycle through as well, you have... It's... Something happened on pit lane. It looks like something happened on pit lane here. I'm going back to see. Oh, yes. Callie Height got turned on pit lane. Yeah, you may want to... Kyle Taub kind of got messy there. Buchanan, we couldn't see a rewind of that because a few good cars got some damage.
Yeah, we have to see here because when Callie entered pit lane...
Yep.
And this is a bit of it. Oh, there's several cars exiting pit lane. Height was joining.
You can already see right there, almost an instant with the 44 and the 29, but that was the box.
Yeah, she missed her box and tried cutting across from the outside to the inside.
Yeah, and you can't do that as
you genuinely can't.
She just had to keep going, and obviously Kyle Tao, big damage to the 50 as well. She backs up, goes in. So, ugh.
Yeah, unsighted there and getting to her pit box, and that triggers an even bigger accident there.
Yeah. I mean, Kyle Tao was on two wheels at one point, so makes you wonder how damaged that machine's going to be along with the 50 of
James Wright, yeah.
Yeah, because I saw Wright in the time scoring for a second. I'm like, okay, that's not Briley. let's use deductive reasoning here. But anyway, a few cars coming in, obviously the few that were involved in that pit lane incident along with Pressy, all coming in to fix up some things. As we'll get the one to go here this time by.
Yeah, so second caution of the night for a multi-car accident triggered by Bryce Saucier. That claimed several cars in it. Ryan Pennell, Josh Gaiman, Ryan Moutre, all involved in that. 21 cars on the lead lap.
Yep. Speaking of those cars, Ryan Patel still on pit lane, fixing up what he needs to fix up. Looks like Josh Gaiman's Osier also on the pit lane. Looks like Moutre was able to get it rolling. So Moutre was able to avoid a good chunk of it. Well, I'm still involved in it, but he will still be at least soldiering on with maybe a competitive car. But that will give us 15 cars currently in this pack. Let's wait for a few to catch up and a few on pit lane, but a little over half the field at the very least with no damage. So now it's going to be the mad scramble for a few cars to get caught up here. You can see pack of 3 currently on the backstretch out of 2. 15, 16 just leaving the pit lane right now. So highly unlikely he'll get caught. Well, it's still a slow parade lap, so we'll have to see. I'd say it's a 0% chance. So at the moment, as we wait for the rest of the cars to catch up, 22 cars currently on the racing surface. 2 cars out of this race. 3 cars still repairing damage to pit lane, hoping to maybe come back to this race. But we'll see how much the damage clocks in. Pace car going to pull off here. As they get ready to go in the restart box, it's going to be on Christina Ryan's control, as Stepping Stones has the front 2 spots locked down. Green flag is out. And away we go. Good launch by the 80. Zach Bryan also gets a good launch about Caitlin Howe pushing the ever-loving you-know-what out of Christina Ryan to get her going. Mackenzie almost tried to jump down there. Couldn't make it done. Away we fly. Right there now, finally getting back up to speed here. Now the one downside is with less cars, there's always the risk of having less people that can help push or even make another line work. We'll see how this maybe affects passing in situations of drafting as these laps tick on by. John Hagan thought about going high here. He's going to do it. Looked like he was a bit indecisive, which is a bit no-no plate racing, but luckily we'll get to work here, and we'll have McBride in tow behind. Christina Ryan still has the car lengths lead over the second row there. Drivers scramble to find where they need to place their cars.
Ryan, Hagan, Howe, top 3. There's McBride there in 4th.
Finish up that order. You got Height, Adams, McKenzie, Sharp, Acosta, Sasek, your top 10. But up front, it has been the 52 show, where he has been, at least one, for most of this race, he has been one of those 2 cars in that front groove. And should be worth noting in this AdminBoxx Cup Series, doesn't have a win yet. Same thing with a few of these drivers in that top 5, excluding obviously Emily Howe for starters. She's been a dominating force so far, looking at another win to that mantle.
Yeah, race winners in this season include Emily Howe. Obviously, Christina Ryan got a race win. I believe that was the shootout that she won, so not a points event.
Nope.
Caitlin Height, I believe, was a dual winner.
Yep,
No?
she won. Ryan won the shootout. You are correct on that. Caitlin has not won anything yet. She did finish second at the Daytona 300. Only other winners worth noting, obviously, Henderson, Howe, Winkelbauer, and Valentine.
Yeah, Winkelbauer, who I was thinking of, yeah.
She won Las Vegas. Someone in the chat was asking where McGee is, and he is currently 16th position, just out off this little pack here, drifting a little bit back.
You're missing the in joke.
I know this is the in joke
Henderson.
there. Ow. Well, then Blake Henderson's out of this race. Well,
Yeah.
you said McGee, and there's a McKee, so
No,
maybe better if I read the prompt a little
they
bit better.
tried being funny, they weren't.
Yeah. Anyway, lap 40, coming to 41. Hagan gonna try to come down here. We'll get the job done. Christina Ryan maybe giving that 52 a bit of a break, and Hagan will lead that lap. So we are coming close to halfway here. This is the lull of the storm you see in plate racing, when the opening accidents have occurred and you're kind of waiting for the second app. It's like an intermission, if you will. As we're coming up to that intermission before we see the second half of chaos here, is a lot of cars liking to run single file here. As you see, maybe in this wide shot, you can see those 5 cars on the outside are the only cars electing to make that outside line work, because everyone else was single file. Looks like Zaire will elect to try to push up here to catch that 2 of Estes in push. But most cars electing to stay low, because we have 18 cars somewhere in this little pack here. McBride looking to get a piece of the front here, getting some help from Adams. As I say, Jonathan Adams. They haven't said much. Well, we've said the names of him so far, but he's really been up in that front echelon of pack. And it looks like he'll now be the leader of the outside line, as Zach McBride will jump down and lead the lap. So McBride in question leads that lap. First lap led by the 47 in this race.
And then Adams looking to possibly play a little bit of spoiler, as McBride got his wish, and now he's like, okay, I'm good. I'm done. And that will give advantage to Adams and Acosta.
Oh, car on the apron there, spun, will save it. Trying to see who that was. I think that was McBride. So McBride tried to bail there, got low, as you obviously were referencing, and then end up clipping the apron, and now he's going to lose the draft. So bad to worse there, try to be safe, and ends up making his own misery.
Adams led that lap. It's rookies at the front of the field. 3 of the top 4 all rookies, with Hagan, Adams, and Acosta at the front of the field. And in fact, it will be 1, 2, 3 here.
For at least a brief moment.
A brief moment, yeah. That's 3 wide behind. That's Zier on the outside lane. The 89 Mountain Dew live wire machine. And I believe that's Ryan Moutre. It is the 44 of Moutre. On the outside as well.
Yeah, a sight you don't see, a sight you would have saw in the late 2000s, early 2010s, the 88, with the National Guard scream running towards the front. There was a Junior Nation, they'd be very happy right now, but instead it's Jonathan Adams, which these old fans are pretty happy he's leading, so not take credit from him. But now he is going to be 3 wide here with Hagan on his left and Zier on his right. Hagan's not going to have much support, but who does? Zier and Matre, who remember was involved in that last caution.
Yeah, Zier and Moutre, both of them have had trouble so far in this race. But they've gotten lucky. And Alfred Denny, keep an eye on him. Alfred Denny got sent airborne in that first caution of the night.
And he's shown that car still got some life in
And
it.
100% still has life in it.
It just comes down to how you hit it. Sometimes you can get lucky if you get in a big accident, but you don't hit anything vital. You'll still be okay, because at the end of the day, you just need the engine. Obviously, if you affect the aero, it's going to obviously affect your leading capacity, but if you still got a great engine under that thing, and it's not damaged, and you can hit your top speeds, you can obviously push. And that shows out for Denny, and easily in that example, he was airborne, but he didn't hurt the engine.
Yeah, Blake Henderson out of this race, unfortunately, but still very much in the fight here, as he's helping his teammates out here as they sit on the outside lane.
They're going to catch a lap car here. They're going to make it 4 wide. Oh, it's not going to work.
That's unfortunate there. That was James Wright, who they caught up to.
Yeah.
Not
You could
a
argue,
not a
you
great
could argue,
move.
Oh. I could see what was. Oh, that's just because they were 3 wide, nowhere to go. James Wright either didn't know that or had no clue, and just killed that outside line. We'll just keep it blunt there. I guess it was like watching something in slow-mo there, and it was not fun to watch.
And he's going to get some obvious flack there, I think.
Not hearing much. Ooh, that's just oof. That's, yeah. Some drivers letting him know he maybe should have went to the apron. Maybe should have better awareness. It's just odd.
So here's kind of what happened, and you want to talk about slow motion? We'll play it in genuine slow motion here, so you can kind of see what's happening here.
Yeah, you can just see 3
There's
wide.
James Wright, and he is so off pace because he was involved in that last accident.
He was also involved in the pit lane thing too. So,
Yeah.
And you could just see they're trying to split him.
He doesn't know where he's going. He knows that they're 3 wide. He just doesn't know where to go.
Yeah,
and that's something
they
that
almost made it work. Almost, it just right rear Zaire clipped him, and that sent him. And then Acosta ended up chaining over the 44. Denny avoids it for a good chunk. So
yeah, Denny got lucky there. Denny got very lucky there.
It looked worse, but then obviously the effect was what happened afterwards, right there with the Aruba Acosta sideways.
Was it net code? It was not. This was pure contact, unfortunately.
Honestly, yeah, it looks worse than it. Well, obviously it's still not good, but the amount of cars that were involved only being 2, it could have been a lot worse how it looked at first.
Let's see, Acosta end up on the apron there.
Obviously, Ruby Acosta and the 44 of Monterey, obviously not going to take that as consolation, but at the very least, more cars were not taken. So anyway, pit stops occurred there. Multiple drivers came down, obviously some to fix, some to do damage. Everyone elected to pit there. Adams, Hagan, they'll be the front row. 9-second stop for Adams, so looked like a possible 2-tire stop for him. Worth noting, in the top 6, only car to take 4 tires was Christina Ryan, who obviously did not pit under those last cautions, so coming down to get, and obviously only took 2 tires in the previous one she pitted on, so obviously get some 4 fresh good years on that machine. Toby Estes, everyone else elected to pit, took 4 tires and fuel. Alfred Denny away, so we'll have to see how much that car may be wounded. Same thing with Ruby Acosta. Both have left the pit lane here, so there was damage. It wasn't major. Main casualty looks like right now at the moment was Ryan Montre, as he is still currently sitting on the pit lane as the clock is striking about to be 2 minutes on his damage repair.
Unfortunate there.
Yeah, it just shows the speed difference, because I've seen that before in officials as well, where you don't think, you hug the wall, and you don't think that, oh, they're going to catch me. If they catch me, you're just going to pinch the wall, and they're going to get it like we saw with other lap cars. But at the end of the day, it was just a bad spot where they happened to be 3 wide at the exact moment. And I think even we can recall previously when Presley, early in the race, when he was up at the wall, they caught him at a similar speed, and he was able to hold the outside line. Everyone was able just to barely shuffle down. And they tried to do it again there, but the only downside is when they caught him, they happened to be 3 wide, basically 4 rows deep. So, just unfortunate, like you said. Ryan Moutre will go a lap down here, fixing his damage.
Yeah, he had a lot of damage on that front end, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, just confirming that. Zaire coming in as well, doing a quick top off in that 89. So the cycle of this field here, we have 18 cars, actually 19 cars still currently running. 19, well, I would say 19 cars still running, but 19 cars at the moment on track in this pack on the lead lap. You got Moutre, Acosta, both on the pit lane with damage clocks over 3 minutes. So sorry for the Ruby Acosta fans if I led you on there. She's currently still on the pit lane, so both cars, big licks, repairing what they can. Same situation for Ryan Pinnell as well. James Wright is out on the circuit right now, so he's currently still putting laps, but being a lap and a half down still looking to try to maybe get his lap back to get back to Federation. Josh Gaiman has worked his way back from the garage. He is trying to just get points here because, remember, he was only 3 back on Lilac Zaire at the moment. So any extra points he can get can try to soften the blow if that 89 gets a good finish and try to close the gap. Cars out of this race: Briley Wright, Blake Henderson, Bryce Saucier. Maybe Henderson will come back out if he's still here in 7 minutes' time. And that will be your recycle the field. 19 cars still in it to win it. Hoping that Alabama is calming to them and can end up getting a win. And Blake Henderson actually is just disconnected, so his race is done. So take him out of contention. So anyway, pace car going to pull off here.
Adams
and
Hagan.
Hagan.
And Pelletier, Sharp, and McKenzie. Top 4. We've crossed the halfway point in this race. Second half commences. Green flag back in the air for the 3rd caution of the night.
Some drivers, they'd be hoping that the rain would be coming right now, but obviously Iverson has no rain. So this race will reach its scheduled distance. Right there, Sharp. Sign aggressive side draft. Looks like Hagan could get split here by McKenzie. They are going to make it 3 wide here, put Hagan in the middle. He's going to have Sassett coming up the toe to help. To get a good little shot there, good switch. Emily Howe going to join that middle group as well.
Yeah, Emily Howe did not want to be behind Lily Pelletier Sharp. You see how much that 18 is wobbling in and out.
Yeah,
that
that's
is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, that's a ticking time bomb at the moment. A lot of drivers aren't going to be happy, especially with their second line on the inside.
Oh, McKenzie!
Oh, no! Sassett hooks Sharp in the wall.
That was
Sassett.
a block by McKenzie that triggered that chain reaction.
Oh, more cars wrecking at the line. More cars wrecking at the line. There you can see.
There's Withers. Obviously, Sasic, a little bit of karma there for him. There's Pelletier Sharp.
Yeah. It was a battle
No, it wasn't. I don't know if Kyle Taub was involved in that or not.
Yeah, Kyle Taub was not involved. He was on the...
I think he was serving a penalty, so he got very lucky on that.
Yes. I'm trying to see, trying to go through my own angles here, too. Lots to recover here.
No, Kyle Taub had a toe, so Kyle Taub was involved in this.
Yeah, no, I see him in the pack right now as I rewind. Yeah, he is in the pack. He was involved. So we'll take a look at this. We'll try to make all sense of this.
Obviously, a lot
looks
to sort
like
of
it was the
dissect.
black. Yeah, looks like it may have been the block gone bad.
It 100% was. McKenzie, that 04, that Tide machine on the outside, tries the block to a Hagan. And that was warned about in the driver's meeting. You cannot make chop blocks. That was explicitly mentioned in the driver's meeting. You cannot chop block. Hagan goes to the middle. There's space there. McKenzie just tries to chop it off. Contact there between the 04 and the 52.
And then that causes the checkup, as you'll see.
And Emily Howard has no idea.
Yeah.
Gets into Eli Sasic there.
Right up. Tobias with
close call for him.
Lucky stars.
And unfortunately,
and then there's going to be a second incident here, so we'll have to keep an eye on Withers and see what happens here.
Taub got ran into by James Wright. His second incident involved in the night.
And this is going to cause a second effect here with Tommy Withers, and you'll see him get hooked into the wall.
There's Denny and Pressy.
Yeah.
Not sure what happened to cause that to happen there.
Oh, and Alfred George.
Yeah, George got a big, huge pile up in that too.
I think it was that second effect here with Withers hitting the grass. Yeah, Withers hits the grass there, comes up, but is he the effect or is it Christina Ryan?
Yeah, Ryan made an avoiding action as well.
Let's just see here. Because you can see there's
Denny just moves up trying to give space, not realizing that Pressy was there.
Got it. So that's what happens.
A lot of wounded cars in this one.
Some get better through it than others. Kyle Taub obviously didn't look too bad, but I think he hits his... Yeah, you're going to see why he towed in about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
We're about to see, but obviously too graphic for our screens. No, he's fine. But anyway, yeah, so next caution of the night here. Quickly try to dissect what's happened here. Logan McKenzie, obviously, if he wins this race, he may get eggs thrown at him, but he couldn't lead the way. He did not pit. Adams, Hagan, Height, McBride, Ryan, Howe, and Ryan all stay out. Howe and Estes both elect pit under this caution. Only came in for fuel. Presley, Height, Sasek, Sharp, Mongold, Withers, Zaire, all on pit lane. All clocks over 15 seconds right now, so they are fixing whatever damage they got in that previous incident. Right now, at the moment, only 8 cars avoided that unscathed, and we'll see how many are wounded for this last half dash to the finish. It's like Sasek is going to be the first one to leave, so the cat with 9 lives makes it out again. No, he did. Yeah, he does. So he will make it out for a lap down. So no lucky dog, as Wright was one of the only ones a lap down, obviously being involved in the incident. In the second incident, he will not get his lap back. So this will be interesting how see it all plays out, but so yeah, we'll see as they go around here. Again, it's going to be quite interesting to see how many of these cars are still competitively fast, I should say. A few cars leaving quickly here. You got Zaire, Presley, Withers, and George are all going to make it out before the ref hits the 10 count here, and we'll be able to stay on the lead lap. Saving the 27 to Cade McKee as well. So meaning Height and Sharp have enough damage in those machines that they will have to at least take a lap to fix them. So as we wait for this pace lap here, I guess it would be a good time to maybe... It should be worth noting as well, if you look at the top 3, all rookies, if my memory serves me correct, with McKenzie, Adams, and Hagan. Now Height just jumped in 3rd, so point change is just a tad.
Still 4 in the top 6 with Hagan and McBride.
Yeah, McBride. Ryan, obviously a little bit of a seasoned vet along with Height. Emily Howe, obviously no question about her ability to drive these things. And Toby Estes. Looking at the line right now for the cutoff point. Good performance here would definitely help Caitlin Height, as she is a wee bits away, about 80, 90 points away from the cut line right now. And with her 2 main rivals, Gaiman still currently out of this race, and Lilac Zaire currently rocking down into 12th position with at least some damage. Would be a good chance for her to jump upward. Other than that, though, the rest of these cars here are either in that top 12 or maybe can extend a little bit higher up, like Tobias is currently 9th. Could easily a good run here, get a little bit higher. So yeah, we'll see how this all plays out. But a lot of drivers looking to, some looking to extend their points leads, some looking to get higher above the cut line, some willing to try to get close to get into the championship 12, and someone like Adams looking just to win. He wants the trophy. He doesn't care about no points.
Same with McKenzie as well. They are the front 2 here as the pace car pull off into pit lane. Everyone getting sorted and situated. Ryan Pinnell getting behind our George. They're further behind. But we roll through the tri-oval, and we will be getting ready to go green for the 4th time. 4th restart underway.
And away we go.
Car coming out of pit lane.
That's the 18 of Pelletier Sharp. She'll thankfully hang the apron here. Not even going to try to jump up here. As she'll now be 2 down at the moment. She'll be battling James Wright for position. Looks like Sasek has a penalty here. Sasek's going to have to jump in here. He's quickly throwing the hand out the window, and he's coming in. So Sasek gets a penalty for something, and he is coming on in.
Caitlin Height to the front of the field alongside Christina Ryan. And Emily Howe, all three of them in the outside lane. Taylor Mills racing Stepping Stone Motorsports and Prismatic Motorsports all in the outside lane right now, working together. Jacob Shangle racing, working with Meme Gold Motorsports in the middle lane. And Logan McKenzie, who's definitely earned some ire here at Talladega after causing a chop block there that caused the fourth caution of the race. He's now sitting down in the 6th spot ahead of Zach McBride, who got bailed out after spinning almost from the lead of the race.
You know, I recalled something I heard on the radio about 30 laps ago when Presley said this race reminded him a bit of the 2002 Aaron's 312. And right now, how it's shaking up, it may not be at that level yet. Hopefully we don't get to that level. But it's giving me shades of the 2022 Daytona summer cutoff race last year when the rain hit and it was a mad scramble. But with a handful of good cars fighting and then the rest just trying to get what they can get. As you can just see some cars hanging on, but others like Zaire, the 22 with Alfred George, the 40, Ruby Acosta all having damage and just trying to limp it home. You can see in the distance there, Presley trying to maybe stay close to his pack here. He's obviously lost a little bit of time. He's right there, that wide shot. Yeah. He's on radio trying to maybe make some deals here, hoping maybe he can push instead of pull, but I think that ship may have sailed as they're 2.5 back. And the gap is growing.
As he just said, his personal best, 48.28. However, fastest laps are in the 47-second bracket. I believe Mongold might have... No, Pressy does have the fastest lap, 47.8.
Huh. Yeah, you can just see. Just keep an eye on my own personal wide shot here. Yeah, Presley can't even stay on that car in question. So yeah, that thing is wounded. So back up front, we've stayed up front. I was just talking to someone in the back. You can see Hagen try to stay behind Howe, going to jump out to. There's no real third line you can make here, but trying something, and now they're going to train on the inside. And that's not good for Hagen.
Yeah, unfortunately, all of Hagen's buddies that he would have worked with at this point in time are either out of this race or wounded. There's going to be McKenzie trying to make his way forward.
And the thing is, good luck trying to break up Height, Ryan, and Howe.
Yeah.
That's not going to be an easy thing to break up, and that's three cars. Even though they're not teammates to a degree, they're all close.
They're all very close friends at this point.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard, especially with Logan McKenzie. Logan McKenzie's earned no friends here so far.
Yeah. Like, you got Logan McKenzie, then you got unproven Jonathan Epps. He's obviously raced some races, but obviously in the series, a bit unproven. And then behind, you got Zach McBride, who is not going to help you try to overpass Christina Ryan. And then you got Austin Mongold, who, good on Austin Mongold, but a name we haven't said much about today, but he's avoided a lot of the chaos, and he is currently looking good to get a top 10. They're going to catch the 18 and the 12 here. Ryan Pinnell actually got back out on the circuit. Sharp 2 down. I was showing the wounded damage here. Pinch the high wall, both are, and they'll zoom on by here on the backstretch going into 3. But as the laps tick down, there's not that many cars. You got to find friends where you can find them. And I know Hagen maybe not too thrilled with that 04 McKenzie. But you got to find a way to break up that top 3 right now. And you got still time to do it. But you got to find a way to break them up, or else one of those 3 cars is winning. But right now, 88 is going to lead that lap, as that high line has got the 88, the 52, and the 04, and McBride is coming in suit.
Adams, Hagen, McKenzie on the outside lane, trying to make something happen. Mongold will join in. Still 5 cars in the inside lane. Estes knows the capacity that these top 3 on the inside lane are for. Kalen Height, one of the winningest drivers in HTL Cup Series history. Obviously, Emily Howell, the winningest driver in the ABN Cup Series. Christina Ryan, last year's Open Wheel World Champion. A lot of quality at that inside lane.
Honestly, I think the only other car that can kind of keep up with this pack they're about to catch here, the 19 of Sasic, who had to serve a penalty. Yeah. So currently still on the lead lap. Will be put one down here, but that's going to be at least one more soldier to help either the inside or the outside. But yeah, a lot of like I said, most cars here don't have teammates anymore as they were involved in incidents or people they would have worked with, obviously wounded or out of this race. So friends are where you can find them. Strange bedfellows make strange situations. And we'll see how it all plays out here as laps are ticking on by. Sasic will probably jump down here, try to get in Mongol's tail end here to stay close. See if he can. Next car they're going to catch is the 89 of Zaire, who's about half a straightaway up the road.
Kayla Knight still leads the way. Adams trying to take it to her. 3 versus 5. Mongol struggling to really get close to you for McKenzie. Hasn't really been able to make it stick there on the outside lane. In the inside lane, breaking apart a little bit as McKenzie goes out wider.
I think he does have a little bit of damage looking at his last pit stop time. He had a minute 31 on a pit clock, so probably does have a little bit of damage here. So it may be affecting pace. They're all going to get around Zaire, going to quickly dump to the apron here. And all safely get around.
Cade McKee also just came out of pit lane, the 27 car. We saw him on the apron. And it's a thinned out group here. Silly antics early in this race. Some drivers have earned themselves some penalties, but it's left really these top 9 cars in firm contention for a race win.
Yeah.
Coming to 30 laps to go.
And that stinks as I'm watching Sasic. He's able to stay
right
close.
There. Yeah, he's that 19 Ascent Racing Toyota.
But he needs a caution to get back on the lead lap. With so few cars, you're not going to get one most likely.
His first car lap down. Zier also 1 lap down. James Wright 3 laps down. So very sparse competition for Sasic if he can just hold on.
And one thing to at least keep an eye on, we know the window is about 25-30 laps. Last pitted for most of these cars, 52, obviously caution laps, save fuel. Most of this field we're watching pitted on 47. Only cars that came in on 52 were Howe, Estes, and Mongold. Yeah. So they can go a little bit longer, but I feel like we got one more pit stop in the Relks for all these cars. Yeah.
I was gonna say that's the biggest one is we got pit stops. And right now it's looking more and more likely that they're gonna be green flag stops.
Yeah, and that also raises the question of we've seen space outs happen on pit stops. Cars that either take 4 and don't know they're supposed to take 4, or take 2.
Or take none.
Or take none. So we've seen elements of that play out, and if like a few cars get in the earpiece, if this is where teammates matter, but a lot of these guys and gals and non-binary pals, to take a quote from your book, don't have teammates or in communication with a lot of these drivers. Some don't have anyone they can communicate with, so their guess is as good as everyone else, ours guess. So it's a point on that front that you don't know. Like if you're John Hagen, you don't know what the cars ahead and behind you can do. You can ask, but what's the likelihood they're going to give you a correct answer? So
I want to kind of throw this one out because I having been a crew chief, having been an engineer, obviously it's Christina Ryan and for Caitlin Height for a little bit in the IGPS series. The top 3, if I'm going to be a betting person here, and I'm not, but if I were to bet any sort of currency on this, I would bet that those first 3 cars are not going to take tires.
I would agree with you because we saw from trends. We saw Christina Ryan take 2 on her first stop, then she stayed out for the next couple. Then when she finally pitched, she took 4. So it's safe to say she was taking none. I would agree with you. Howe took on her last pit stop. Just look, she came in for fuel only. Past couple stops, she came in fuel only. And when she first came in, she took 2 tires. Caitlin Height, obviously the data is a little bit more incomplete on her. Last stop she took on 47, she took 4 tires. So it's safe to assume she's probably not going to take 4 tires here. The only real chance is, I think, obviously, if someone forgets to check their box and obviously takes 4 by accident, maybe you see a few 2-tire stops. Maybe someone that went long, like Toby X's. We don't know when the last time he took 4 tires is, so maybe he elects to go for 4. But then if no one else goes 4, it's the game of risk assessment. If you go 4, you got to hope, because there's 9 cars in this pack. If you go 4, you got to hope at least 4 of those cars, half the pack, go with you. If you think the chance is only 2 that are going to take 4, it's about getting in the majority, getting in the plurality. This would be a fun board game. And up in the booth, it's easy to predict. It's house money. But if you want to get a win, it's going to be quite interesting to see what horse you bet on. And it really comes down to how many are going to take 0 and how many are going to take 2. And how many are accidentally going to take 4, most likely. As they are going to catch the car. I think that is the 27. They're going to... 94, sorry. 94, Presley. They are going to catch and lap here. Put him 1 down as well. He'll be in the lucky dog condition if a caution happens with Sasek, George, and Zier. But with Sasek being the least wounded, that is his to lose at the moment.
Yeah, Presti already thrown out of the draft. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not going to be anywhere close to that. Sasek's to lose as far as that lucky dog goes. That's why he's staying. He's staying behind Mongold here. That Mongold in that red and silver number 29 machine.
Yeah. If an accident happens or something happens, then he can check up and make sure he doesn't hit anything. There's no reason for him to be up there in the 3rd and 4th, because even if you get, the only advantage would be is if a caution were to come out, then if you're leading the train, you wouldn't have to go to tail end and then be behind all the cars with damage. But it isn't really worth that risk at the moment. 25 to go. It's still Kelly Height, Ryan Howe. Nothing has changed really up front. We've seen some drivers go high to low. McKenzie has been that main force in that outside line, along with Jonathan Adams. Awesome on goal as well. But again, drivers kind of go up, down, really just making their dues and trying to figure out what they need. Again, the enjoyment of plate racing when it boils down to the end here. It's chaotic. It's a bit sometimes off-putting, especially bad circumstances, but it's always fun to watch near the end. One thing worth noting is they are going to catch a little gaggle of cars here. The 50, the 89, the 12, and the 18 again. Well, 12 and 18 another time. The 50 and the 89 the first time. Actually, second time for both either. So regardless, they're going to catch all here again, and they're all spaced out here, so no ill effects. Most will probably go to the apron or pinch the wall.
I say this is easy to kind of just hold the wall here a little bit, because it is only 9, 10 cars in this group. Mm-hmm. Really, 10 cars exact, because Sasek's the 10th place car. And the other 9 cars on the lead lap in front of him.
Yep, see Ryan Pinnell there. He'll punch the wall in that Hooters machine. Driver you see regularly at the A Squared Cup Series. On the bottom, you can see Alex Zaire, someone you see on Friday nights in HTL.
There's James Wright, who's already caused 1 accident by being a lapped car.
And they're not going to make it easy, as they'll be 2 wide here at the worst point. Luckily, no reason to force it. They'll just wait for Sharp to go around the high side, and then they'll split him on the low. It should be worth noting, obviously, as we probably say this every week, but it should be worth noting as well as the laps are ticking down here. If a caution were to come out, there are no green-white checkers that can affect this race. We go schedule distance. 94 laps is 94 laps.
Yes.
No more, no less.
We've not had a race under a caution yet in this series.
The only one was the shootout, but a points-paying race has not happened yet. We had a few, I think one close call, but that race ended up finishing under green anyway.
Bristol.
Yep. Actually, yeah. Anyway. Oh, that actually raised under caution, so regardless, but yes. Anyway. Height, Ryan Howe, 1, 2, 3. Estes able to get up to 4th, holding that inside apron. And at least with these few cars, well, it's less likely to have a mad scramble get down, because you can basically kind of get low when needed.
Yeah, McKenzie on his own there in the outside lane, sort of indicative of where he stands in all of this. James, right importantly, has the pace to be in this lead group.
Chances of coming back to win this race is slim none, being 3 down with so many other cars being 1. But at the very least, he could be helpful. It adds another number, another name that if a car
That's for stepping stone, though.
Yeah, so
that's in Christina Ryan's camp with Zach McBride there. Maybe he helps Zach McBride. Maybe.
Oh, pit stops. We see 1 coming in. Looks like 5 are coming in here.
And they're not gonna make it. Not even close.
No. Hastis doesn't make it. Hagen doesn't make it. The rest do get down. But the question is, did they speed?
Oh yeah, 100% they sped. 100% they sped.
All right, I'll keep an eye on the clocks here. If it goes over 15, that is the penalty. Looks like McBride, they're all in their boxes now.
Yeah, you look at McBride, Mongold, and Estes. No, Adams, McBride, and Mongold. The 88, 47, and 29.
Looks like McGold makes it out. No penalty for him. No penalty for McBride. No penalty for Adams. Looks like 2 tires for both Adams and Mongold. 14 seconds for McBride. Looks like Hagen and Estes ended up getting busted by the cops.
Unsafe. Not only were they speeding, but unsafe pit entry.
Yep.
Because they both missed out.
And that will take them out. So the last cars here coming in right now. Hagen obviously not going to be joining them. Looks like everyone will get it woed down here. Big little bit of a puff of smoke there. Oh, McKenzie bumps Estes. Bumps the 19 of Sasic. Yeah, you can see the 2 there still stationary. So he is donezo.
As far as him being in contention, yeah.
The only guess positive is he would actually hook up with these cars coming out, but he'd still be 1 down.
Look at McKenzie coming out of pit lane, Caitlin Height, Christina Ryan, Emily Howe coming out of pit lane, and they all took fuel only.
Yep. So McKenzie's going to lead the train here, but he's going to actually get boxed here as Height's to his outside. So he's not going to be able to merge up here, so he's going to have to concede or box away that 11. 04 still not giving up yet, but now will have to concede the spot here, as obviously you can't drive that car in the grass. So Height going to come out in first, McKenzie second, Howe third, Ryan fourth. You can already see trying to scramble that 04 and throw him away. Other cars that came in that were able to avoid the police were Adams, McBride, and Mongold. But the thing worth noting, they all took 2 tires or 4, and that just shows you the gap right there. And they don't have the numbers to even really get up to the front here.
There's Acosta in the 40, just at the tail end of this.
But she's very wounded. She even said on the previous restart in that regard. So she's not going to be much help. Ahead, they're going to catch Ryan Pinnell. He's definitely wounded. And then the only other car they'll see is the 19, a Sasic, who they could get to and really make a charge. But right now, 9 seconds.
See a line of cars there up ahead. That's Estes in that group with Pressey and Albert George.
Yep. Estes right now trying to run as far away as possible. If caution were to come out, would stay on the lead lap here. Pressey, George, Hagen also on the lead lap. Hagen in no man's land up the road a little bit farther up.
You get around Zier. Put Zier another lap down.
Yep, and they're just going to swallow this pack hole here.
Yeah, Albert George is wounded. Yeah, and so is Pressey. And Estes had nowhere he could go.
Estes can't run alone, and Estes thought maybe it could help, but he'll try to hopefully hang on here to McKenzie, but looks like Alfred George will block that off.
Yeah, Estes was just way too slow in reacting to that.
Yeah.
Way too slow in reacting to that.
His only real chance is maybe to drag the brake and try to get to pack 2, but that's a 9-second free fall before he even gets there.
8 cars on lead lap. John Hagen, the next car to go a lap down. He suffered a penalty on pit lane. And then see Pelletier Sharp in the outside lane. After Pelletier Sharp should be Hagen.
Yep, Hagen's going to be on the inside line. You see him right there in the tri-oval. Yep. That is John Hagen. Wondering what he has to do to get a win here. Been so close, looked good, and had that calamity on the last pit stop. Yeah, and gap is now 10 seconds between pack 1 and pack 2. So your winner is most likely coming unless caution were to come out. your winner is coming from this pack of 4 here. And the thing that kind of stinks, if you're Mackenzie, you got no one you can help that's going to help you. You know, Ryan, Howe, and Height aren't going to help you in any shape of the imagination. Hagan, if he can stay close, maybe could help you, but is he going to help you in turn what happened on that previous restart, even when he's a lap down? Kind of re-put yourself.
It's very difficult because, again, it's 3 cars versus 2, and it very well, the gloves could come off between the top 3 on that final lap.
Maybe.
It typically does.
Yeah, you're not wrong. All 3 drivers, let's put it in perspective. Caitlin Height, not in the chase currently.
Yeah.
She could use a win here because she's about 90 points out on the cut line right now. Cut line being, obviously, this is not updated. They'll be updated, obviously, for next week at Motegi. But Lil Zaire is the current cut line. Going in right now, Caitlin Height was 27 off Saucier. Then another 18, 30, 40, we'll just call it 47. 47 plus 71, we'll say 70, just for rough estimation. That's 110, 113. So 115, 125 range, give or take. Obviously, quick math there, not saving me. But that's about 100 points is Pinell making a pit stop there. So a win is a good cut into it when you look at the field and you see that Gaiman crashed out of this race early. He's in the top 20s right now in point standings. James Gutta, not here tonight. Saucier, same fate as Gaiman. An incident, going to get bottom points pillings. And then you got, obviously, Lil Zaire currently 13th, 2 laps down. So it's going to be a good chance to gain. And when you got Christina Ryan, who, Emily Howe, obviously, has won multiple times this year, 5 times. No real risk of not making the chase unless she drops out the last 4 rounds. And even then, she's probably still got a good chance to make it. And Christina Ryan, second in tow, right behind her in the points, with only 1 win to her name. And that was the shootout only, so no points-paying wins to her name. Both there in return. Obviously, Ryan would want to win. Howe would obviously want to get a 6 just because why not? But the win matters the most to Caitlin Height, and also the points, even finishing 3rd, matters the most to Caitlin Height. So Caitlin Height's got the most to win and the most to lose here of these cars in this little gaggle of 3, and then you got Logan McKenzie in 4th, and he'll have at least maybe a little bit of help from Hagan, but Hagan is a wild card here.
Sitting with 13 laps to go.
Interesting, McKenzie told Hagan to go around here. Feels like he's better, more comfortable pushing.
Yeah, well, you saw how much time McKenzie was losing, trying to be pushed by Hagan. It just was not working.
Yeah.
I feel like McKenzie's kind of a sitting duck at this point, because even if these 3 in our picture do start going at it, McKenzie is going to run out of space to go.
Yeah, and in turn, he shows he can't lead for one reason or another. So,
it's a rough time.
He's going to have to hope they wreck, like, this is like Vickers in 05 with Junior and Johnson. Except, in turn, Vickers goes around 2. Or he needs John Hagan to be a kettle bomb here and try to make something happen. But the problem is, why would John Hagan risk points, penalties, or anything else in trying in regard? The only advantage would be to get his lap back. But right now, he's the first one down. So there's no reason for him to push here and upset status quo. Only real reason would be to put himself in a spot. If the caution were to come out, he, instead of being on the tail end, he would be leading, would be up here with the remaining cars on the lead lap right now, which are only 7. So it's risk. It's with obviously in the next 5-6 laps that won't matter anyway. So yeah, and even right now McKenzie's still even kind of a bit of trouble staying behind Hagan. So if I was a betting man, if I was running down to Vegas right now and putting a bet, I'm saying I'm putting a bet on either the 11, the 83, or the 80. By the way, you're not the second pack there. Obviously, McAdams, McBride, and Mongold all still there, but they have lost 2 seconds to this front pack, and they will not be getting caught up unless they find a power-up or a bullet bill Mario Kart drops around this track. To finish up the top 10, obviously Hagan, Sasek, Estes, 1, 2, 3. Hagan, Estes both had unsafe pit entries. Why they went 1 down has their penalties. Sasek had an unknown penalty on the last restart of the caution and is still 1 down because of that. That is your top 10 at the moment, as we have hit 10 to go.
McKenzie's caught up there to Hagen, finally. But catching up and passing, two different things.
He's basically, honestly, it may be a situation we saw, I forget the shootout year, but when Eric Jones was pushed by Denny Hamlin, it may be a situation where he pushes the wounded car ahead and then tries to just push it ahead and then try to pass it that way. Maybe his only chance. But the problem is, Hagen can't do it with only one of the car. We need one more to maybe follow. If Christina Ryan gets racy, if she wants to win this more and jumps out, Hagen may goes with, McKenzie goes suit. Maybe we have a ball game here. But right now, the only way McKenzie has a chance to win this race is if either Christina Ryan, Emily Howe go with Hagen, and they basically numbers game the inside line.
We're going to find out here in about 8 laps time, because it takes a lot of momentum to make it happen. It takes you at least a good lap to try to get something built up. And that is if you only give yourself one shot. See the top 3 here, all very experienced veterans at the style of racing. Christina Ryan, iRacing Daytona 500 winner back in 2021. One of her best plate racing accolades. Again, anyone that's watched ABN broadcasting over the past 2 years knows what Caitlin Height can do. We know what Emily Howe can do. John Hagen, unfortunately, we know what he can do, and unfortunately, it's not going to mean much of anything tonight. Him being 8th place, stuck 1 lap down.
I mean, it's still a good points day, and at the very least, it will keep him in that top 12 for the chase. So,
yeah, he was already safe. Yeah,
he was already safe, but at the very least, he's not losing points, and the gloves come off at the end of the month. So, legitimately, 30th's the cutoff race, and then we'll be heading into September, second week of September. Like, we will see the chase start. Caitlin Height finished second. Remember, for those with good memory, finished second at the only other plate race. Came within a fingernail of beating Blake Henderson and getting the win to start the season. Maybe a bit of a different reversal of fortunes if you won this race. Looking to get a first win here tonight in the AdminBoxx Cup Series. Emily Howe, obviously 5, looking to make it 6 wins, extend that points lead. And Christina Ryan, second in the points, not got a win yet. Only win was a non-points paying place, the shootout, ABN's 100th competition event. Looking to try to make the first win in actual competition. And obviously McKenzie really falling off here. It's going to be interesting to see what these top 3 do.
Whoa, something happened with Hagen there.
Yeah.
Really wild serpentine on the back straightaway for Hagen.
Very odd. Maybe pulled over to get a jerk. Maybe it was reaching for a water bottle or something. Maybe something fell. One advantage is they are going to catch few cars here. Obviously, a lot of them are wounded. You got the 40, the 89, the 27, and the 18 of Sharp, the 12 Ryan Pennell, and the 50 of James Wright. We saw James Wright is in stepping zone, and he was able to keep up with the pack. So if they can get to him for the end and he can latch on, maybe that could be the thing Stepping Stone needs. But if ifs and buts and candy nuts, every day would be Christmas, and we'll have to see how it all plays out. They'll get around Zaire here, and then have a big gaggle. 4 they will catch, probably coming to 4 to go. Three cars going to go high, 1 low. We know at least 3 of these cars do not have the pace to kind of stay close. Sharp, Brian Pennell, obviously both damage, high damage. Definitely got no speed in that. Only one is at 50, and it's up to the 50. See if he can help maybe the stepping stone, but he will stay in line. Oh, Sharp got loose there.
No, Sharp lost an engine, or somebody lost an engine, I think.
That could be a caution, but that may end the race if they call it. She's stationary.
It is a blown engine for Pelletier Sharp.
Oh, here comes some more cars here.
That's going to be a caution. That's a caution.
That's a caution.
That is...
And S just got a piece of that.
Yeah.
That, I think, is race.
It's race over, yeah.
Yep.
They're coming to 3 to go.
So Height will win this. Howell will finish second. Ryan third. A lot of drivers not happy with that.
No. No, can't blame them. That was silly. That was absolutely silly. Completely silly. Heard something go. And tonight's race will end under caution. Second race of the season to do so after Bristol.
How did it go, though, is the question.
Probably damage to the radiator, causing an overheat.
Maybe, because she was running 187 coming to the line. She was getting pushed by the 27. A little bit of a pack, and then she catches up to the 50, and then the thing just wobbles, and then it instantly drops speed. So it just blew. Like you alluded to, Carmen, it just went. And Caitlin Height not happy as something just happened with her, and now she's got a 4X. Yeah, she is definitely not happy. Lot to dissect. Oh, she got ran over on the backstretch. James Wright gave her air.
So we're going to look at this caution here. Again, we're going to have to go back. A lot to dissect here.
Yeah. On 2 to go, but I'll let you know when we get to the finish here. But yeah, the restart here, you're going to see it just goes now.
Yeah, and
then at this point, she's trying to save it. And the thing is, you could say, all right, at this point, just lock it down and tow. I don't want to insult her, but it's just at that point, just tow and lock the brake down.
Yeah, and just the complete failure to do anything of that sort.
And then she keeps rolling, maybe trying to see if she can get it, and then it spins. And at this point, S just piles in right there.
There's no point. There genuinely is no point. She was on a lap on her own, and Ryan Pinnell was 6 laps behind.
And then Estes also now gets 12th place points billings instead of being in the top 10 because of that incident. So it's just, and then one more thing maybe worth noting as well is James Wright, you'll see right here.
And this is just silly.
Not paying attention, and then gives Caitlin Height a 4X, and I can see why she's upset when going back and looking at that.
That's so silly.
So yeah, I don't want to be pessimistic, but I will say it was a cherry topping a sundae made of a certain type of material, but it was still fun to at least watch. But anyway, you'll see 3 wide as the friends will all kind of go 3 abreast here, as we will get the 1 to go this time by. Obviously, Pedaleys may be coming. Obviously, Mackenzie may get something for the chop block. This result screen is not final, but what can be known at the very least is Height will win this race. Christina Ryan will come home second. Howell will come home second, sorry. Christina Ryan will come home third. Mackenzie fourth. And then Austin Mongold will get a top 5. This is the only downside of being such a long track ending under caution. Long pace laps. I guess we will take this opportunity. Obviously, the pace laps are still going around here. Do not go anywhere. Hopefully, if we can, we'll try to get the top 3 in here for post-race interviews. Maybe with top 5. We'll see how Carmen is feeling on that one. This could have an effect because safety rating and that can also affect penalties, obviously clean driving rewards, better more points and all that as well. So this is going to be quite interesting how this all shakes out. And with only 3 rounds left after this, Motegi, Watkins Glen, and Richmond. Short track on a completely different continent, or kind of a short track. Then a road course up in the hills of upstate New York. And then finishing it off in Virginia at Richmond, another short track. These next 3 weeks for the drivers on the cut line, below the cut line, even the drivers in that 6 to 12 range. I'm interested to see how it all shakes up with points, penalties, and all that. Like I said, Caitlin Height currently outside the top 12. Needed this win. Maybe a bit of revengeance for what happened at Daytona, finishing second. She'll get that win now. So as we come through the tri-oval, one last time, the checkered flag and the yellow flag will be displayed, and your winner of this race, the number 11, Caitlin Height, will win the ABN Alabama 250. Emily Howe in second, Christina Ryan in third, Logan McKenzie fourth, and Austin Mongold. It will be your top 5 here tonight in Alabama. Obviously, as soon as the flag drop, all 3 cars, 1-3, will do some synchronized burnouts, synchronizing their friendship and celebrating this accomplishment, even though they may have wished they could finish this one under green. You see him burning it down on the backstretch here, right in front of all the faithful. They're all gonna be in that little synchronized pile, burning it down. It's probably gonna go till the engines explode. Yeah, I wish I had more to say, but I think really that's kind of all we've said. Seen the finish? Burn it down. And they'll pile up here maybe to try to...
We'll watch them all burn it down here. We'll start with interviews. Looks like the top 4 will be available for interviews, starting with Logan McKenzie. We'll hear what he has to say about tonight's race. Logan, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
I've got you.
Alrighty. Probably not the race that you were kind of expecting it to end on. Obviously, it was kind of a 1-on-3 situation there. But kind of walk through how that battle was for you and how you were planning on possibly taking everyone on before that caution came out.
Well, I was actually hoping for the caution the whole time because unfortunately, I miscalculated on fuel coming in. I was about 1.5 laps short. I knew I wasn't going to make it. So when you saw me barely hanging on, what you were seeing was me desperately trying to save fuel, but it just wasn't working. So incredibly lucky to bring home that P4.
Obviously, I mean, you were out front most of this race this evening. Obviously, a pretty caution-filled, but you got to stay at least in front of all the melee. Your first play race in ABN, a bit of a wild one. Obviously, what do you kind of take away from the night's race? Is really the last play race of the season already before we head to Twin Rim Motegi next week?
You know, I have a certain appreciation for the plate tracks, but at some point, you're just kind of hugging the high line or the low line. At least was my strategy today, and just pray that you could survive and avoid whatever comes. So glad that it's over with. I think I could have gotten much worse. And I mean, the few green flag runs we had were pretty solid, pretty long. I know there were quite a few cautions, but it didn't feel like that from the cockpit. So it was a fun race.
Obviously, as I mentioned there, Motegi next week, 3 races to go in the regular season. Obviously, you joined in late, so it's been mostly just about getting some experience in these Gen 4 machines. But Twin Motegi, have you spent any time on the oval? And if so, what are you expecting next week?
I haven't driven the Motegi oval much at all. I'm expecting something similar to Gateway, just based on what I've seen of the track, maybe a little bit bigger. But who knows? I haven't set any laps on it. I've had a lot of fun in this car on all the medium-sized ovals. It's really nice to be able to feel that tire fall off, and it just provides you a lot of great feedback. So I know I'm looking forward to it.
Well, obviously, Logan, you had a phenomenal race tonight, P4. By the time everything kind of came to a close here tonight at Talladega. Before we let you go and kind of let you relax and unwind this Wednesday evening, if anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congratulations on another top 5 finish tonight.
Yeah, shout out to you guys for putting this on. It's great to see such a well-run league, and I love the broadcast. Have it on occasionally, for the less tense races. I may have it on in the background, so. I know how much work it takes to put into something like this, so really appreciate all that you guys do.
I appreciate it, Logan. Again, congratulations. 4th place finish tonight. A really good effort and saved by the bell. Not having to worry about that fuel mileage there at the end with that caution with 3 laps to go. Logan, enjoy again the top 5, and hopefully we get to see you next week in Japan.
Thank you, guys.
That was Logan McKenzie. He is the 4th place finisher tonight. We'll move on to the 3rd place finisher, and Christina Ryan, hear her perspective on how everything turned out this evening. Definitely a wild race for their perspective as well.
How many of you did the double, like the hot pass thing where you split the screens with the broadcast in this? Is that something we want to do moving forward, or we prefer I don't do the broadcast overlays? Because I had it on in the background the whole stream with the audio, and I had a link to the official stream. So
obviously, Christina streaming her perspective. Christina, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Carmen. How are you?
Pretty good. Obviously, we caught you there. Obviously, you were streaming your perspective there tonight. We got the glimpse of that communication. Wild race for you. Obviously, being able to work there with Emily and Caitlin worked out wonders the entire second half of the race. But it was a little bit hazy trying to get through one of the accidents there. Kind of just walk through your perspective. Obviously, Talladega, it's a special place for you. One of your first major league wins as far as court is concerned here a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that go crazy in my performance, but the one thing that I've just always been good at no matter what and no matter where is plate racing. So it felt really good to go out and put ourselves in that position. I thought we had a shot maybe to go for the win, but I'm okay with this too. I'm just, yeah, it was hairy with that tri-oval deal. It was funny because I actually was following somebody and I didn't want to be behind them. I didn't quite trust pushing them, so I was in the middle of bailing out of the line to get up with my compatriots, I guess we'll say. They're not technically teammates, but they're teammates. So I was trying to fold in that line, and that's when Sassett got turned. And if I was staying where I was, I would have been the first one to get clobbered there. So after that, everything was just pretty chill. I mean, these girls are fantastic. I love working with them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we do, where we're at. When me and Kate and Emily hook up, nobody wins except for us. So it's fun to be that dominant on a track that's all about pack racing. But yeah, no, super happy. Big shout out to Pennzoil and W Energy and Stepping Stone. Yeah, super stoked. Obviously, everybody was in chat on my end, and some people in yours. Hopefully, got you some traffic. We were streaming alongside with you, so no, super good. Good comeback after a few stinkers. So
Absolutely. Obviously, Christina, obviously P3 here tonight. Obviously, second place in the championship standings, and that seems even more secure now as we get ready to head into the chase for the championship here in a few rounds. It's another track next week that I think a lot of people are looking forward to. Trend Ring Motegi coming up in 7 days' time. How are you feeling about going back to Japan?
Yeah, I have no idea how fast they're going to be, but I don't really care. That's it's such a unique racetrack. It's such a great racetrack. I really love racing there. I've won there in court. Did well there whenever I've been in an open wheeler there too. So it's and the road course is fun as well. So I'm just excited to be there. It's fun to go to tracks that we otherwise wouldn't usually be at in most leagues. So it'll be unique. It'll be a fun experience, and you may or may not see a special kind of paint scheme out there. So.
Well, I can't wait to see it if it does show up. Christina Ryan, P3 tonight, another podium here this afternoon in Talladega. If there's anyone, obviously you shout out some of your sponsors there, but if there's anyone else you want to shout out, the floor is yours. Congratulations on yet another podium in ABN.
Thank you. Yeah, obviously shout out to you two for putting it on. It was a fun one to listen to. Obviously shout out to Emily and Kate. Working with them is always fun. Prismatic and TMR, I suppose, in the respective groups as well. So everybody who was sitting in chat cheering for me in your chat or cheering for me in my chat, I really appreciate all the support. You guys are amazing, and you guys make it fun. So other than that, I think I got everybody. So again, shout out to Stepping Stone and everything there as well. So yeah, P3, not bad. We'll take it.
Absolutely. And congratulations, Christina, P3. Happy to have you obviously stream your perspective as well. For those that aren't familiar, we've rated her a few times, but AMR Chrissy, if you want to head over there after our broadcast ends tonight. Christina,
wow, I don't know about that.
I mean,
we will be reviewing the race though, so.
Absolutely. Well, again, if you want to go anywhere after our broadcast ends, Christina, always a good person to tune in and watch, whether it's Burnout or obviously doing these onboard streams tonight as well. Again, Christina, enjoy the podium finish. P3 tonight with Motegi next week. Can't wait to see you on track in Japan.
Thanks, love.
That was Christina Ryan, third place finisher here tonight. We'll move right on along to Emily Howe, second place finisher tonight, and pull her on board and see her perspective, obviously finishing second place tonight, to Caitlin Height. Emily, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. Get a copy.
Hello.
Alrighty, a very interesting turn of events tonight. Second place, ending under caution once again. Last time we saw this was at Bristol. You had the betterment of that position. Now the roles reverse. Kind of walk through, obviously, your perspective of the race. You were up front most of the race, but you had to kind of crawl through a part of it. Kind of just walk through your perspective and how this race went for you.
I mean, it was pretty expected coming into this package to kind of make it kind of a stagnant affair, just because of the way the side draft works and how you really don't get that momentum built up like you do in the newer packages with the next gen and Gen 6 with their newer draft model. So really, it was just a game of track position and kind of managing, staying at our Rex and staying in line where we needed to be and saving the fuel that we needed. And so we did a pretty good job of keeping ourselves clean and staying up there and just kind of controlling the race. We had a really good job of pushing. Me and Chrissy, I feel like, are the best pushers in the field at this point. And so really dictated the pace and just kind of set our own race. And then by the end of it, we kind of spread the field enough to where it was really just us. And then once Logan kind of got shook off the back of us, we kind of knew that it was our race to lose.
Obviously, the caution tonight at the end of the race sort of changed how everything was going to... really kind of put everything on a stop. What was the game plan going into it? Were you going to try to... Were you planning on making a move on Caitlin to kind of go for that race win? I think the answer is going to be yes, but did you think that Christina was going to go with you in that situation? Obviously, kind of pick your brain how these last two laps were going to go had they been on the green.
It was just going to depend on how things shook out. If Logan would have come back to us, or if there was any threat, we would have probably stayed single file just to prevent that from happening. But it really would have just depended on how things were looking. I don't need to get one more spot and risk our good finish here, and obviously, Caitlin's outside the points or close on the points in the bubble, so a win for her is massive. So I wasn't going to push the issue too much because I knew that probably. either Chrissy would make a move on me or, would help Katie. So overall, just glad to have finished and, really shown the effort that we have together as a team.
Absolutely. Obviously, as soon as we saw the three of you hook up tonight, it was pretty much pretty well assured that you three were going to dominate whatever line you were in. But we go from a race that has been so successful for, obviously, Prismatic Motorsports, obviously Christina Ryan, Caitlin Height, and then that entire bunch as a whole. We go to a track that we don't see used very often for stock car races, at least not in our circle anyway. We go to Twin Motegi. How excited and looking forward to it are you for next week's race? Obviously, Motegi, a very unique track. But how exciting is that going to a new track like Motegi and seeing how things go there?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting challenge. I mean, we really are going to all have no idea what's going to be going on. And so it's going to be a great equalizer. We go in there with no notebook, no real knowledge of it, and, just get to slug it out for that whole time. So that's going to be a fun one. Definitely, with how different 1 and 2 is compared to 3 and 4, it's going to be really a challenge to really hook up both ends. You're really flying in there into basically a corner with no banking and just down to about 120 miles an hour from 180. It's really going to be an interesting challenge, and hopefully should have some new folks out there. I've seen some new people in the Discord and signing up, so should have some good fresh blood out there and have a good time.
Absolutely. Obviously, Motegi, a fan favorite track. Doesn't matter if it's open wheel, stock cars, everyone's going to have a little bit of nostalgia for it in some way, shape, or form. But for you, second place tonight, another podium finish, extending your championship lead over, obviously, Christina Ryan and really the rest of the field here at Talladega. If there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, Emily, the floor is yours. Congratulations on yet another amazing performance to add on to your dominant season so far.
Yeah, at this point, I feel like it's a script at this point. Obviously, to give a shout out to Prismatic Motorsports, AdminBoxx, ABN, everyone who helped put this league together. Got a shout out to our sponsor, Certifiably Diverse, Kadon Computers, ABN Esports. God, I need to just have like a wall plaster of
like
all
a
my
long
sponsors.
sticky note on the side of your monitor.
I
or
do.
something,
I have
yeah.
a bunch of stickers sitting over here that I need to grab and just stick up on the wall. Everyone else put this together. Everyone who came out and had a good race tonight, and all the fans back at the shop or back at home if they have a shop. It's just been a fun season. So let's keep rolling on.
Absolutely. Again, Emily, second place finish tonight. Championship leader, extends that points margin by a little bit tonight. Not as much as what it was a few weeks ago. But Emily, again, congratulations, another podium, and hopefully we get to see even more from you next week in Japan.
Yeah, see you there.
That was Emily Howe, second place finisher here tonight. But all eyes right now tonight on Caitlin Height, 7-time winner in HTO competition, obviously champion over in court, among other competitions. Caitlin Height, race winner, obviously soured by how that caution began, but a race win nonetheless. Caitlin, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I got ya.
Alrighty. Finally, you get to take off the bridesmaid's dress, and you finally get a win here in the Cup Series. Obviously, the contact there with James Wright as that caution began, we'll kind of separate that for a second, but it's finally a race win after what seems like so close so far. Several second-place finishes. You thought about Bristol, where a caution ended that one before you could get a shot at the battle for it. Indianapolis, another one. Obviously, a race win tonight. How does it feel?
Yeah, it was just, I feel it's great to be on top here tonight. Honestly, the entire race, it was just sort of, I was just completely chilled for most of it and just like, whatever was going to happen sort of attitude. And I just kept, we had the whole co-opetition going with the dolls with Prismatic and Queen's Design. So, yeah, I mean, the TMR racing machine was just pretty quick, and, working with everyone else out there it was just enjoyable for the entire night.
Obviously, a bit of chaos there. Obviously, you got contact there with James right there at the end. That 4X won't stand because it's under caution, so you still get the bonus for the no incident points. But notwithstanding, this race seemed a little bit crazier. You were up front for most of it. But from your perspective, how difficult was it being in the pack, and what do you think contributed to some of the struggles of those drivers? Obviously, you made your way forward. You started at the very back of the field and charged your way up. What was it like going through that process, and was there any difficulties as far as how this car handled here tonight?
As far as the car, there felt like there's a really big push in the entry and center of the corner, and as the runs started to wear on, especially that last one without taking tires on the pit stop, the right front tire was just sort of starting to fall off, so the cars sort of tended to push a lot. Like I said, mostly entry and middle of the corner, but the very beginning of the race, I just wanted to see how the car was going to react, sort of trying to go 3 wide and how well I could manage myself. I know it's sort of a little bit over aggressive on the first few opening laps, but that was the biggest pack of cars, and just wanted to see what it is that I could have accomplished there, depending on if I was in that position late. And then once I got up towards the front, I know the first 2 cautions at least, both of those happened directly behind me in my mirror, so I guess a lot of it, super speedway racing is a lot of right place at the right time, but there's also just that nuance of what you need to do with the car and when to sort of maximize how much luck you're going to have.
Obviously, I mean, it worked out. Obviously, luck being in your favor. I always say luck's intersection of talent, opportunity, and that obviously all lined up tonight. A race win here at Talladega, just what the doctor ordered before we head over to Motegi next week. Motegi, it's a track not a lot of people have raced at, let alone in this car. How are you feeling going into that race, being so unique and so different than typical mile-and-a-half tracks? How are you feeling going into Motegi next week?
I have no frame of reference, so it's just completely new to me. I don't know if the car is going to push. I don't know if it's going to be super loose. I don't know. You're just gonna have to. I'm just gonna have to find out when we get there.
Well, obviously, it worked out for you tonight. Again, started at the very back of the field, gained 24 spots to make it a race win for the first time this season. Obviously, it's going to be busy for you here coming up with HTL coming back up at the end of the month. But for tonight, it's once again a lot closer to being in championship contention here in the ABN AdminBoxx Cup Series. But before we let you go and enjoy your Wednesday evening, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, obviously the floor is yours. Congratulations, you're a race winner for the first time here at Talladega.
All right, well, first and foremost, want to thank Taylor Mills Racing, Digitally Fresh, all the girls at Prismatic and Queen's Designs for really helping out for this evening. Special thanks to Callie, Lexi, Emily, Christina, Ruby, Taylor, even though she wasn't in the race, still have to thank the boss. Let's see, also this bottle of water, because with it still being August, it is hot. I'm sweating, but high performance athletes sweat. Key. Anyway,
I was muted. I was muted because my dog tried to I guess ask a question of some sort of variety. But regardless, Caitlin, race winner at Talladega, fantastic. Once again, seeing that number 11 car in victory lane here on ABN screens. Hopefully we get to see that again in a week's time in Motegi, and hopefully we get to see more of that 11 car on Monday nights here at the end of the month. But Katie, obviously enjoy the race win, enjoy the week ahead, and hopefully we get to see you next week doing the same thing.
All right, thank you.
All right, that was Caitlin Height, race winner here this evening at Talladega. A phenomenal race for her. Emily Howe and Christina Ryan rounding out the top 3. Logan McKenzie, we heard from him in 4th position. Austin Mongold finished top 5. Here's the full results as they run on your screen. We went to the top 5. Zach McBride, a 6th place finish for him ahead of Jonathan Adams and John Hagen. Obviously, this race ended under caution for them. They were 10 seconds behind under green, having that last green flag pit stop change everything for them. John Hagen in 8th place, last car on the lead lap ahead of Eli Sasick and Elrich George. John Hagen got the lucky dog, the free pass, under that last caution to get back on the lead lap. Nick Pressey in 11th, Lilac Zier in 12th. Toby Estes finished 13th place ahead of James Wright. Ruby Acosta, Cade McKee in top 16 form. Lily Pelletier Sharp causing that last caution, finished in 17th position ahead of Ryan Pinnell. Looking further down, Callie Height in 19th place, not the position she wanted. Obviously, still firmly in the chase for the Cup competition, but a point sit tonight with 3 races remaining. Tommy Withers, top 20 for him. Alfred Denny taken out twice in this race. That number 17 finished 21st. A bad night overall just for Tombstone Motorsports. Cal Taub, likewise a bad race for him. 22nd ahead of Ryan Moutre, his first race at ABN. One that leaves a lot to be desired for him, as he was caught up in other people's accidents as well. Josh Gaiman, 24th. Bryce Saucier, 25th. Blake Henderson, 26th. And then Bradley Wright, last car running, in 27th position. That's going to do it from us here tonight, here at Talladega. Tomorrow night, it's the ABN Champ Car World Series from Mutterland, Aragon, for the Grand Prix of Alkenys. Friday night, Twiggy Racing Series heads to Kansas, and then the start of SNS Season 6, the Saturday Night Showdown for ARCS, begins at Daytona on Saturday, August 5th. We'll be back to streaming 6 nights a week here very shortly, so get ready for more ABN action here very, very soon. On behalf of everyone here for ABN, for the ABN AdminBoxx Cup Series, all of our partners, Agent Inc., E83 Flying Machines, HTL, Twiggy, ARCS, and everyone here at ABN Studios here in Cincinnati. Local commentator Kevin Young, I'm Carmen Sienna. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, have some fun in the week ahead. But until next time, we'll see you tomorrow night in Spain for ABN Champ Car at Mutterland, Aragon. Until then, we'll see you next time.